Chapter 2537. Demon Races Formation? When the surrounding people heard this, their expressions changed and they all became uneasy. Lin Xian also frowned. He said to the disciples of Immortal Palace beside him, "Be careful. Haha, it is indeed our demon races formation." Those half-demons laughed loudly. "Damn humans, do you see that? This is our demon saint's ancient tomb. You mere humans want to touch our demon saint's ancient tomb? You deserve to die 1,000 times. The people of Demon Imperial Palace sneered. Clang. Suddenly, a stream of light appeared and turned into a blood-colored light, fighting forward. One of the experts from the Demon King Hall roared and spat out a mouthful of blood as he was sent flying. Half of his body had been sliced apart. Damn it! Who is it? The people of Demon Imperial Palace roared, thinking that it was the warriors of the Holy Lands who attacked. Stupid half-demons, it was clearly the formation that attacked. So what if you want the Demon Saint's ancient tomb? Do you think your Demon Imperial Palace can survive in this formation? Seiko Dian sneered. Damn it, this is impossible. The people of Demon Imperial Palace gritted their teeth. Huoqiandu shouted coldly, "Release your aura. I don't believe that the Demon Races formation will target us." Boom boom boom. The surrounding formation runes flickered, drawing out countless blood-colored light that shot out in all directions. It enveloped the people of Demon Imperial Palace. At the same time, the warriors of the Great Sage Land were all attacked. Damn it, how could it be like this? The people of Demon Imperial Palace roared. These formations actually attacked them. How is this possible? They had already released their demonic chi, so why was it still like this? They couldn't understand. The holy sons and holy daughters of the Great Sage Land shouted coldly, "Hurry up and defend. Hurry up and attack." Bus. On Lin Xian's body, the dragon sword domain appeared and quickly transformed into countless sword chi that intertwined. Ping ping ping. The blood-colored light collided with it, emitting an earth-shaking sound, shaking Lin Xian's blood and chi. On the other side, countless petals fluttered around Murong Qingqing, blocking the attack. The purple chi that filled the sky enveloped Shen Jingqiu. Everyone tried to defend, but they were all affected. Their expressions changed drastically. Damn it! What kind of formation was this? Why was it so terrifying? The defensive armors of the weaker young disciples were instantly pierced through by the blood-red light, and many of them were split in half. Damn it! Leaf Daodenier roared, unleashing his golden domain to cover the Yi clan disciples. The Yaoguang Saint controlled the imitation dragon pattern, and the cauldron floated above the Yaoguang Sacred Land disciples. The Grand Xia Dynasty, the Nine Li Dynasty, the Four Symbols Holy Land, the Dian Holy Land, and the Taishan Holy Land. All the Holy Sons took out their trump cards to protect the martial artists of their holy lands. On Lin Xian's side, he similarly opened up the Dragon Sword domain, enveloping Immortal Palace's martial artists. Damn it, what kind of array is this? How could it be so terrifying? Boom. Just as the cultivators of the Holy Land exclaimed, the people of the Fiend Monarch Palace in the distance roared. A surging scarlet light filled the sky, creating a scene of apocalypse. These people from the Demon King Palace had strong physiques and fierce means. Logically speaking, it should not be difficult for them to block the attack. However, at that moment they were roaring in anger. In fact, many of the Demon King Palace's martial artists were pierced through. Even Huoqiandu took out a purple bead. It froze a piece of land. Damn it! How could it be like this? The people of the Demon King Palace gritted their teeth. Because they realized that this array was attacking them more fiercely than the humans. It seemed to be specifically targeting them. Impossible. This is the ancient tomb of the ancient saint of the demon race. It's the demon race's array. Why would it target us? It should be killing the humans. The people of the Demon King Palace went crazy. Even Yen Ruyu and Huoqiandu frowned. They could not understand it either. When the martial artists of the Great Sage saw this scene, they sneered. You think this is the demon saint's place? What now, have you tasted the power of the demon saint? These people naturally noticed this and sneered. They did not expect this array to be so evil. It seemed to be specifically targeting the people of the Demon King Palace. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, the surrounding void trembled, and the runes flickered even more. Blood-red saber lights appeared in the void, slashing in all directions. Boom, boom. Heaven and earth trembled, and cracks appeared on the defense created by the powerhouses of Nashi. Damn it, how could it be so terrifying? The holy sons and holy daughters felt their scalps go numb. On Lin Xian's side, the dragon sword domain whistled and was attacked. He shouted coldly, and the dragon sword domain rotated, emitting countless sharp sword lights to contend with the attack. The two collided and the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Those blood-red saber lights were sent flying, but they did not shatter. This scene shocked Lin Xian even more. One had to know that the sword chi emitted by his great dragon sword soul was extremely sharp. Nothing below a heaven-grade treasure could contend with it. However, these blood-red saber lights did not shatter, not even a crack. Kid, be careful. This seems to be the work of a saint. Damn it, it's too evil. We're trapped. The dark red dragon's face was gloomy, and he gritted his teeth. Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu led the people of the great sage and merged. The three great sage joined forces to resist. Don't panic. This formation has existed for so long, and it definitely can't display the power it should have had back then. It's not that we can't resist. Although Lin Xian was attacked fiercely, they could still resist. However, they did not know how long this formation could last. They could still hold on for a short period of time, but as time went on, they would be in danger. After all, they were humans. Although they were powerful, their strength was not endless. Moreover, this formation had existed for tens of thousands of years, so it must have its own energy. As time went on, they might really be killed. No, they couldn't continue like this. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Attack, they must break this formation. He was a formation master, so he naturally knew that passively defending was not the best way. Taking the initiative to attack was the way to go. Set up the universe formation. Behind him, Xing Tian shouted coldly. The warriors of Immortal Palace moved quickly. They combined to form a strange formation. This was an extremely terrifying offensive formation of Immortal Palace. It was extremely terrifying. At this moment, when these young disciples used it, its power was indeed boundless. On the side, Shen Jingqiu and Murong Qingqing also organized their disciples to counterattack. Among them, the Jade Lake Sacred Ground set up the Green Lotus Sword formation. Purple Afterglow Sacred Ground, Purple Afterglow Six Directions formation. When the other saints and saintesses saw this scene, they also shouted coldly. They also set up their own Sacred Grounds unique formations. No Flower. The monks of Lanrua Temple formed the Dragon Subduing Tiger formation. Yin-Yang formation, Five Elements formation, For Symbols formation, Big Dipper formation. All kinds of formations appeared one after another. They attacked crazily, resisting the blood-colored saber light that filled the sky. On the side of Demon Imperial Palace, they also fought back with all their might. The warriors of Demon Imperial Palace formed the Eight Desolation Blood Sea formation. Watiendo activated the purple bead, emitting 10,000 rays of light to resist. Any blood-colored saber light that approached was instantly blasted away. Chapter 2538. The Monster King Palace seemed to be the focus of the attack. Therefore, they were under a lot more pressure. Although the eight-directional Blood Sea formation was terrifying, it gradually became fragmented and could not withstand the attacks. Yen Ryu snorted coldly as a green light appeared in her eyes. A green stream of light rushed out from her body and slashed forward. In an instant, the surrounding blood-colored saber light shattered. This scene shocked everyone. The dark red divine dragon exclaimed, "Damn, this chick is too powerful." Sure enough, after one attack, Yen Ryu controlled the green stream of light and destroyed all the surrounding blood-colored saber light. The crisis of the Monster King Palace was resolved. Buzz buzz buzz. The void trembled again as 8 blood-colored figures appeared in all directions and froze the sky. This is? Everyone's expression changed. They looked up at the sky with fear in their eyes. Be it the Monster King Palace or the Sacred Grounds. Lin Xian also frowned. Sure enough, something else had appeared. Moreover, these 8 figures brought with them a monstrous aura that was much stronger than the previous blood-colored saber light. Demonic beast. Xing Tian's pupils constricted. At this moment, everyone looked up at the sky. Ah! Exclamations could be heard. Between heaven and earth, the 8 blood-colored figures were extremely terrifying. They seemed to be formed by blood-colored light and emitted a monstrous aura. Huge blood-colored wings were hidden behind their backs, and when they flapped, they brought with them a strong demonic wind. What are these? Bats? Someone exclaimed. Yes, they were indeed bats. And judging from the aura, it should be the Bat King. Damn it. Seiko Dian's face instantly turned gloomy as he recalled that they had a disciple who had his skin sucked dry. Could it be that the Bat King did it? Kill. A genius from the Dian Sacred Ground charged over. Damn you, stinky bat, return my junior brother's life. A blue sword light flashed across the sky and shone in all directions. It was like a wave that slashed forward. Accompanying it was a loud roar. The surrounding people exclaimed. This sword technique was terrifying. Judging from its power, it was definitely at the level of a top-notch almighty. Bus poof. There was a scream as the blue sword light in the sky shattered. The genius from the sacred ground was sent flying and his arm turned into a bloody mist. What? How could he be so powerful? Everyone was stunned. Seiko Dian's pupils shrank. The other saints and saintesses also gasped in astonishment. What did they see? A crimson bat king had severely injured a genius from the sacred land with just a flap of its wings. Wasn't this method a little too terrifying? What realm had these blood-red bat kings reached? They did not dare to imagine. So powerful. At the very least, it was an 8-star Supreme Demon King. Moreover, it was not an ordinary Supreme Demon King. It was very likely that he was in the middle to late stages. Thinking of this, everyone's heart turned heavy. So what? It's just a demonic beast. I'll kill it. A young man from the Nangong family walked out. This young man was very handsome and his body shone with boundless light. Nangong Holy Son. The surrounding crowd exclaimed. They did not expect that a saint-level genius was about to make a move. They watched the battle nervously. Nangong Xingzi soared into the sky and stared at a blood bat king in the sky. The blood-colored bat king was challenged. It flapped its blood-colored wings, which turned into dozens of sharp saber lights that slashed toward Qin Mu. Boom, boom. The void was shattered in an instant. Soon, dozens of saber lights shrouded Nangong Xingzi. Nangong Xingzi sneered. An unparalleled power erupted from his body, forming a sphere that spread out in all directions. Boom. The saber lights hit the sphere with a deafening sound. Boom, boom, boom. The saber lights were shattered and turned into a bloody mist. Nangong Xingzi laughed. You want to hurt me with mere saber lights? Go to hell. As he spoke, he threw out a palm. His palm covered the sky and was completely black. It was as if a demonic mountain was pressing down. The sky was torn apart in an instant. The violent energy caused the surrounding young disciples to exclaim. Boom. The palm landed on the Blood Bat King and completely shrouded it. This is great. He hit it. The disciples of the Nangong family cheered. Let's see how he dies. How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? You don't know what's good for you. Cold laughter rang in the air. Nangong Xingzi revealed a smug smile. It was nothing in front of his black demonic palm. However, he was stunned the next moment. What was going on? He felt that his opponent had not turned into a bloody mist under his black demonic palm. Whoosh! The huge black demonic palm was raised. Countless winds and clouds changed. The surrounding people widened their eyes and looked forward. Damn it! How could this be? He's not injured? That's impossible. The people of the Nangong family were the first to exclaim. The geniuses of the other holy lands were also shocked. Lin Xian frowned. Yi Wudao's eyes were like golden lightning that streaked across the void. Damn it! How could this be? Nangong Xingzi was also stunned. His black demonic palm was an ultimate technique. With such a palm strike, even a pinnacle almighty would be smashed into pieces. Even a peerless almighty would be seriously injured. However, his opponent was not injured at all. There was not even a crack on his body. Damn it! Die for me. The black demonic palm struck again. This time, its power was even more violent than before. Could be said that it could destroy heaven and earth. Boom. An earth-shattering sound rang out. The entire cave shook and large cracks spread in all directions. However, Nangong Xingzi's face turned even uglier. He was the attacker, so he could naturally sense the situation of the Blood Bat King under his black demonic palm. The Blood Bat King was still intact. Whoosh! Suddenly, the black demonic palm broke into pieces. A blood-colored crack burst open. Two blood-colored wings were like heavenly blades that tore through the void and destroyed the black demonic palm. Damn it! Nangong Xingzi retreated. Cracks had appeared on his palm and blood was flowing out. His handsome face had become extremely distorted. Xingzi! The martial artists of the Nangong family exclaimed and rushed over. The others all looked ahead in horror. It was too terrifying. The blood-colored bat was so terrifying. It could injure a Xingzi. The opponent's strength was completely above the Xingzi's. Moreover, the opponent had only flapped his wings. He did not even move his body. This made the faces of all the Xingzi and saintesses turn gloomy. Damn it! What the hell is that? Many people were terrified. The people of the Fei Imperial Palace exclaimed. Damn it! It's the Blood-Wing Bat King. It's a mutated beast. Wasn't it said to be extinct? They actually appeared here. And there were 8 of them? The Blood-Wing Bat King was an ancient peerless beast. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. This ancient tomb was too strange. It even had such an ancient beast that was about to go extinct. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The 8 blood-winged bat kings moved at this moment. Chapter 2539. The martial artists of the Great Sage Land suffered a violent impact. The tornado was even more terrifying than the previous saber light. Quickly block it. Lin Xian snorted coldly and activated the dragon sword domain. It roared in the sky and tore apart the surrounding tornadoes. The other saints and saintesses also used their ultimate skills to resist. Whoosh! The 8 blood-winged bat kings moved. As soon as they appeared, they brought with them a powerful storm and a terrifying blood aura. Those array attacks were instantly shattered. Among them, 5 blood-winged bat kings charged towards the human race's holy lands. The other 3 charged towards the demon imperial palace. The faces of the people of the demon imperial palace instantly turned green. One had to know that no matter how powerful they were only a holy land. There were so many holy lands on the other side, but they were only attacked by 5 blood-winged bat kings. Their holy land was attacked by 3 blood-winged bat kings. How could they contend against this? Moreover, these were not ordinary blood-winged bat kings. Any one of them could easily injure a saint-level genius. Sure enough, in an instant, miserable cries came from the demon imperial palace. More than a dozen martial artists of the demon imperial palace were instantly torn apart. A large amount of blood mist filled the air as miserable cries sounded. It was like hell on earth. The other disciples were also affected and vomited blood as they flew backward. In the blink of an eye, the demon imperial palace was severely injured. Damn it! Get lost. Huachendu's eyes instantly turned red. He activated the purple orb and shot out a piercing light. Boom! An earth-shattering sound rang out. A blood-winged bat king was blocked and forced back. But soon it charged over with a roar. It did not suffer any injuries. Damn it! Huachendu roared and attacked again, fighting with the blood-winged bat king. The other 2 charged towards Yenryu. This scene caused everyone's hearts to tremble. Yenryu snorted coldly and formed a seal with her palm. Immediately, a green treasure bottle appeared in her hand, and thousands of rays of light shone down, enveloping her body. Boom boom boom. The blood-colored tornado collided with it, making a sonorous sound, but it did not break. This scene made the people of the demon imperial palace heave a sigh of relief. However, they did not relax, because the 2 blood-winged bat kings had already reached Yenryu's side. What's going on? In the distance, the martial practitioners of the Great Sage also cried out in surprise. They were attacked by 5 blood-winged bat kings. In an instant, a great battle broke out. However, the holy sons and holy daughters used a wisp of their souls to investigate the situation at the demon imperial palace. When they saw the 2 blood-winged bat kings attacking Yenryu, they cried out in alarm. From the looks of it, the target of these bat kings seemed to be that mysterious woman. What's going on? Just what kind of identity did that Yenryu have? How could he alarm 2 blood-winged bat kings? One had to know that they had saint bodies on their side, and each of the great sage's sons and saintesses only had 5 saint bodies. One Yenryu had actually attracted 2 of them. Could it be that the other party possessed some kind of unique bloodline? Or perhaps, his status in the Demon King Palace was very special? They didn't know. Lin Xian also became nervous when he saw this. Yenryu was Zhao Shui. He didn't want anything to happen to her. Damn it! Lin Xian roared. He saw Yenryu being sent flying, but fortunately she didn't seem to be injured. The people of the Demon Imperial Palace went crazy. Among them, a few powerful demon kings roared. Protect the young master. They charged at the blood-winged bat kings crazily. Boom, boom. The battle was very intense. The sky full of attacks collided with the blood-winged bat kings, making sonorous sounds. However, the attacks did not break through their bodies. Impossible. Damn it, could it be that these are invincible demon kings? Those powerhouses screamed because it was too unbelievable. Their attacks were extremely swift and fierce. Even if they were peerless demon kings, they would have been blown up long ago. No, they were not ordinary demon kings. It seemed that they had been refined like the Big Dipper coffin outside. They might also have Tao patterns on their bodies. This was no longer an archfiend. It was more like a guardian of the tomb. Their defense was astonishing and their combat strength was powerful. They must be careful. Exclamations sounded one after another. As expected, although Lin Xian's side had the advantage in numbers, the young disciples' attacks could not hurt the blood-winged bat kings at all. Even a single holy sun could not suppress them. They had to work together to suppress them. This was too strange. Every single thing in this ancient tomb was extremely terrifying. One had to know that these holy sons and holy daughters were all peerless geniuses who dominated the world. Which one of them did not dominate a region? Now, they could only fight to a draw with a demon king? If this were to spread, no one would believe it. Moreover, what shocked them even more was that the 5 Bloodwing Bat Kings were not just attacking alone. When the 5 of them worked together, they formed a strange formation that enveloped everyone. At that moment, Lin Xian and the others began to roar in anger. Lin Xian also knew that this was not everyone's true strength. For example, Yi Wudao, the Alcade Holy Son, and the others probably still had a lot of trump cards that they had not used. Not to mention them, even he had not used the Holy Son's hand bone. Black Earth. In the distance, the illusion Holy Son screamed. One of his arms was torn off and instantly turned into human skin. Among them, a Bloodwing Bat King charged toward him and kept sucking his blood. Damn it, get out of my way. The illusion Holy Son was so scared that his face turned green. He roared and his severed arm instantly regrew. A majestic force surged out. It blasted the Bloodwing Bat King away. Phew. The illusion Holy Son exhaled, his face pale. It was too dangerous. He was almost killed just now. When the other holy sons and holy daughters saw this scene, their expressions turned grave. The young disciples were scared out of their wits. It was too terrifying. Even a holy son would be killed if he was not careful, let alone them. Oh no, don't get hurt by it. Lin Xian shouted coldly. His soul was super strong and he instantly realized that there was something wrong with these Bloodwing Bat Kings. Their strength was constantly rising. Damn it, don't let them suck blood. They can increase their combat strength. Lin Xian shouted coldly again. What? Hearing this, everyone sensed it. As expected, they found that the Bloodwing Bat King's combat strength was getting stronger and stronger. Damn it, if this continued they would definitely die. They could not delay any longer. They had to use their land cards. The illusion Holy Son gritted his teeth and took out an illusion pearl that emitted a strange and bright light. As soon as the illusion pearl was taken out, it tore apart the sea of blood and the terrifying red storm. The other holy sons and holy daughters also used their trump cards. However, these Bloodwing Bat Kings were too terrifying. They were puppets that had been refined with holy weapons and were the guardians of the ancient tomb. Therefore, even if they used their land cards, these holy sons and holy daughters would not be able to kill them in a short time. Chapter 2540. They were severely suppressed. Damn it. Damn it. Why are they targeting us? We also have the blood of the demon race flowing in our bodies. Those experts roared angrily. They really couldn't understand. Why would the array specifically target them? Yen Ryu and Hua Tiandu's faces were gloomy. Damn it, bloodline. They're here for our bloodline. Hua Tiandu gritted his teeth and hurriedly protected Ryu. He couldn't let her get hurt. The eyes of the experts of the Demon Imperial Palace also turned red. They crazily surrounded Yen Ryu to protect her. They resisted the attacks of the 2 Bloodwing Bat Kings. They had no choice. Firstly, they had to listen to Hua Tiandu's orders. Secondly, Yen Ryu's identity was too special. Not only to the Demon Imperial Palace but to the entire demon race, it was extremely important. They couldn't let her suffer any losses. Kill. The eyes of the 2 Bloodwing Bat Kings bloomed with a strange green light. They stared at Yen Ryu. Kill. Cold roars sounded. That's right, their target was indeed Yen Ryu. Of course they wouldn't let those humans go. You want my blood? What a good idea. Yen Ryu snorted coldly. She didn't expect that these guardians would attack her in this ancient tomb. Could it be that the deceased ancient sage of the monstrous beast tribe was plotting against her? But how many tens of thousands of years had it been? Didn't he die long ago? On Yen Ryu's body, a green light surrounded her like a bunch of lotus flowers, completely enveloping her. Ping ping ping. The green lotus phantom was very tall, like an immortal flower. It danced in the air, turned into a divine rainbow and swept out. With a bang, one of the Bloodwing Bat Kings was sent flying. The Bloodwing Bat King smashed through the void and directly retreated far away, rolling countless times before stopping. But in the next moment, it screamed and charged over. The 2 Bloodwing Bat Kings attacked crazily. They waved their wings, claws and teeth, constantly biting the green lotus phantom. The green lotus phantom was bitten into pieces and would shatter at any time, but it recovered in an instant. It grew and multiplied endlessly as if it was indestructible. It blocked the attacks of the 2 Bloodwing Bat Kings. This scene shocked everyone. Heavens, how could this Yen Ryu be so terrifying? She could actually resist 2 Bloodwing Bat Kings alone. How could this be? Could it be that her strength far surpassed the saints? These people were all crazy. Yi Wudao, the Yao Guang Saint's son, the Daoyi Saint's son, the Grand Xia Prince, the Central Continent Twin Kings, and the others all wore solemn expressions. They felt a huge pressure. Someone had actually surpassed them. Humph, impossible. That girl must have some kind of super trump card. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to withstand it. The twin kings of the central prefecture snorted coldly, and the Alcade Saint Sun's eyes flickered. Her green lotus phantom was terrifying, and it was definitely a precious treasure. Leaf Dao Denier didn't say anything. Instead, he shouted coldly, unleashing his golden spirit domain and unleashing deadly attacks on the Bloodwing Bat King. All of a sudden, the power of the holy physique was displayed. It was earth-shattering as it fought with the Bloodwing Bat King. Lin Xian and the others also fought back with all their might. However, Lin Xian did not display his full combat strength. He had been accumulating strength all this time. Who knew if there was something even more terrifying after these Bloodwing Bat Kings? Now all he had to do was protect himself. The Immortal Palace could still hold on for the time being. Xin Jingqiu and Murong Qingqing were not in any danger. In the distance, Yan Ruyu unleashed a powerful green lotus phantom and temporarily resolved the crisis. All of this made Lin Xian breathe a sigh of relief. Ruffian Dragon, hurry up and find out if you can break this formation. At the same time, Lin Xian activated his heavenly secret divine eyes, trying to control one of the Bloodwing Bat Kings. However, his ocular technique was instantly reflected back. In fact, there was an even more terrifying backlash force that surged toward him. It was overflowing with blood and wanted to devour his soul. Soul ignition. Lin Xian activated the secret art of soul ignition in an instant, burning away the cold, bloody energy. Damn it. There was indeed something mysterious in the Bloodwing Bat King's bodies. He guessed that it should be something like a Dao pattern. Otherwise, it couldn't be so powerful that it could resist his heavenly secret divine eyes. The situation in front of them changed again. The bodies of the three Bloodwing Bat Kings suddenly expanded, and blood-red patterns appeared on their bodies. They opened their bloody legs and enveloped the people of the Demon Imperial Palace. The expressions of the people of the Demon Imperial Palace changed instantly. They felt that the blood in their bodies was rapidly draining. Not good. They want to forcibly rob us of our blood. The expressions of the powerhouses of the Demon Imperial Palace changed drastically. Damn it, this is the Bat King's innate ability. They've activated their bloodline power. Hurry up and activate our own. Countless angry roars rang out. The people of the Demon Imperial Palace quickly activated their bloodline power to resist. The Bloodwing Bat Kings were a rare species of heaven and earth in ancient times. They were extremely terrifying peerless beasts. In addition to their ferocity, their bloodline power was extremely terrifying. They could directly rob others of their blood. This method was extremely strange and impossible to guard against. For a moment, the people of the Demon Imperial Palace screamed miserably. Watiandu threw out a purple pearl that kept expanding. It was like a purple sun that froze the sky and blocked the attack. On Yan Ruyu's side, the green lotus illusion on her body also expanded, turning into a divine tree of heaven and earth that enveloped all of the people of the Demon Imperial Palace. On the other side, the 5 Bloodwing Bat Kings also activated their deprive ability and forcibly robbed the martial artists of their blood. The young martial artists instantly screamed miserably. Their faces were pale and blood rushed out of their bodies, turning into a river that flew into the sky. The 5 Bloodwing Bat Kings crazily devoured. Many of the weaker ones were directly turned into human skin, and their blood was forcibly taken away. The Immortal Palace side was also affected. The disciples of the Immortal Palace screamed miserably. Their armor and king domains were useless at this moment. The blood in their bodies flew out uncontrollably. Seeing that they were about to be sucked dry, Lin Xian shouted coldly, "Great Dragon Sword Soul." In the spirit domain, countless dragon-shaped sword energies flew out and slashed towards the sky. Boom boom boom. Countless cracks appeared between heaven and earth. The blood that filled the sky flowed back. The martial artists of the Immortal Palace cried out in surprise. Too good. They felt as if they had just survived a festival. Seeing this scene, the other saints and saintesses also followed suit. They slashed the void wanting to stop it. However, almost no one succeeded. They couldn't sever this connection at all. Damn it, how could that kid sever it? Could it be that there was something special about his sword chi? The surrounding saints and saintesses couldn't understand. Chapter 2541. Of course, the other saints and saintesses did not have the great dragon sword soul, but some powerful saints and saintesses had other means. For example, the golden sword dragon pattern cauldron only in heaven and earth, and the power of the saint physique could all destroy the divine power. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. However, after such a long time, it would still be a great crisis for the human race. Perhaps, other than a few saints and saintesses, everyone else would be killed. Damn it. Lin Xian roared and rushed into the sky. His body emitted a powerful light as he waved the ancient dragon abyss sword in all directions. Streaks of sharp sword waves burst out like divine swords, shattering the void. They were saved. Everyone exclaimed as they felt their blood returning to their bodies. In the next moment they looked at Lin Xian. It was this kid who saved them. At this moment they had mixed feelings. The saints and saintesses looked at Lin Xian's figure with solemn expressions. His opponent's sword chi was simply too sharp and too bizarre. Lin Xian ignored them. His figure flashed and instantly arrived at the side of the demon imperial palace. With a few slashes he broke the Bat King's divine power. They were saved. The people of the demon imperial palace also heaved a sigh of relief. They looked at Lin Xian with complicated expressions. Yen Ryu smiled. Thank you, young master, for your help. She wanted to smile. Beautiful. Hua Tiandu snorted, but he still said, thank you for your help. I will remember this favor. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the sky the 8 Bloodwing Bat Kings stopped attacking. They stood in 8 different directions and stared coldly at Lin Xian. Lin Xian felt a great pressure. It was extremely dangerous to be stared at by so many peerless demon kings. He snorted coldly. The sword chi in his body rushed out and shattered the void, destroying the powerful pressure of the 8 demon kings. Lin Xian stood in the sky and looked in all directions. Everyone, I think we should work together. Brother Lin, do you have any ideas? Yu Wudao asked. The other saints and saintesses also looked up. Among them, the 5 Elements Palace, the 9 Firmaments Divine Emperor, and the Tai Dynasty were furious, but they did not say anything. This was because the other party's sword technique was very powerful. It was able to destroy that kind of blood-sucking divine ability. To them this was undoubtedly a life-saving straw. They didn't dare to provoke him now. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as tens of thousands of sword beams radiated from his body. He was like a sword immortal. My companion is an array master. He should be able to find the key to breaking the array. When the time comes we can attack together and break this array. Then he could leave this place. However, during this period I ask for everyone's cooperation. Cooperate. Hearing this, the expressions of the people from the Nangong family and the Yin-Yang sect changed. They remembered what had happened before. Previously, when they were trying to break the 8 trigrams formation in the secret room, they had worked together with the other party. However, at that time they were not very willing. In the end they were tortured to death by the other party. The current scene was extremely similar to the one before. This made them gnash their teeth and their faces turn ashen. However, there was nothing they could do. The other party's attainments and formations were far above theirs. Alright, no problem. We'll listen to you. Leaf Dao Denier nodded. No Flower also made a statement. The Prince of the Great Xia also said that it was fine. Since the top holy princes had said so, the other holy princes and holy maidens didn't dare to have any objections. Ruffian Dragon, it's up to you. Lin Xian opened up her dragon's word domain. Countless dragon-shaped sword beams surrounded her and cut off the blood-sucking divine ability. The dark red dragon led the people from the great sage land to break the array. However, it wasn't that easy to break the array. There were still 8 Bloodwing Bat Kings eyeing them covetously. As expected, as soon as they began to break the array, the 8 Bloodwing Bat Kings attacked like crazy. This time their power was even more terrifying than before. Rays of blood-colored light shot into the sky like a surging sea of blood. Although Lin Xian had temporarily suppressed the blood-sucking divine ability, the Bloodwing Bat Kings were still very terrifying without it. For a moment, miserable screams rang out again. They split into 2 groups. One group broke the array while the other attacked. Lin Xian roared and slashed out with his sword. He sent a Bloodwing Bat King flying as he roared loudly. Qingqing Jingqiu, break the array with Ruffian Dragon. I'll attack with No Flower and the rest. Murong Qingqing Shin Jingqiu, lead the others and the dark red dragon to break the array. On the other side, Lin Xian, No Flower, Leaf Dao Denier, the Alcade Holy Prince, and the others began to attack. Of course, in addition to them, countless geniuses and powerhouses also attacked. They destroyed a part of the world. However, the 8 Bloodwing Bat Kings were too terrifying. Their bodies were like heaven-grade treasures that couldn't be broken at all. After a fierce battle, the Bloodwing Bat Kings were sent flying countless times. However, each time they would quickly charge back. It was as if they were endless and couldn't die. Lin Xian's side was miserable. The better ones had exhausted too much energy and the worse ones were injured. In fact, 2 holy princes were torn apart and almost killed. Yen Ryu snorted coldly. She took off a bronze octagonal bell from her waist and gently shook it in her hand. Ding ding dang dang. A crisp sound was heard. Suddenly the void shattered. Not good. It seems to be Flower Protector. The surrounding people's faces changed. They didn't expect that the other party would have a Flower Protector. Damn it, weren't the 3 Flower Protectors taken away? Why is there a 4th one? Someone exclaimed. Even Lin Xian was surprised. Leaf Daodenier and the Alcade Holy Prince were also surprised. The 3 Flower Protectors were divided among the 3 of them. They didn't expect another one to appear in the other party's hands. Defend! Exclamations were heard. Everyone retreated. The light of Flower Protector blasted the Bloodwing Bat Kings, sending them flying again. Buzz buzz buzz. Mysterious patterns appeared on the Bloodwing Bat Kings' bodies. Their bodies flowed like blood. It was incomparably demonic. A terrifying demonic aura spread out. No, help me. I can't unleash the full power of Flower Protector. Indeed, although Yen Ryu was powerful, she was only at the level of a genius. Although Flower Protector was terrifying, they couldn't unleash its full power yet. Lin Xian also took out Flower Protector. Not only him, but Leaf Daodenier and the Alcade Holy Prince also took out their Flower Protectors. 4 Flower Protectors floated in the sky, stabilizing the 4 sides of the Heaven Palace. Then they began to shake. They attacked carefully, controlling all the sound waves within a certain range to avoid being affected. Flower Protectors were very powerful. Although they could only unleash a trace of power, if they attacked, any martial artist below the level of a peerless almighty would be turned into ashes in an instant. Roar. Chapter 2542. The 4 Bloodwing Bat Kings roared angrily and pounced forward, fighting with Flower Protector. As for the other 4, they charged over once again. Damn it! Yi Wudao roared. Their Flower Protector could only restrain 4 of them. They needed other methods to deal with the other 4. However, Yen Ryu began to breathe a sigh of relief. There were still 4 left, and the danger for them had greatly decreased. It wasn't that they couldn't win. Thinking of this, a green light appeared on her body, and she slashed out, sending one of the closest ones flying. Everyone attacked together, suppressing them. Kill. Angry roars sounded one after another. The cultivators of the Great Sage attacked, forcing the 4 Bloodwing Bat Kings to retreat. That's great. Everyone cheered wildly. They saw hope. However, the 4 Bloodwing Bat Kings roared, and endless bloody light spread out from their bodies. Buzz, buzz, buzz. 4 other blurry figures appeared beside them, and they began to combine and transform, forming another 4 Bat Kings. Damn it, how is this possible? Are they clones? The Alcade Saint waved his palm, sending one of the condensed Bat Kings flying. However, he found that there were no cracks on the other party's body. It was also terrifying. Not good, I'm afraid it's not clones. Damn it, what is this? It can't be broken. Exclamations sounded, and despair appeared in everyone's eyes. At this moment, the Bloodwing Bat Kings that were fighting against the 4 Flower Protectors also split into 4 clones. 8 Bat Kings became 16 Bat Kings. Each of them was incomparably powerful. Their bodies were like heaven step artifacts, and their attacks were even more powerful. Damn it. No. I don't believe it. Everyone was in despair. It was already difficult for them to fight against the 8 Bat Kings. Now that the number had doubled, what could they do? 16 Bloodwing Bat Kings, how could they fight? Everyone's faces were filled with despair. Yi Wudao, the Alcade Saint, and the others' faces were gloomy. Unless they used all their trump cards, could they kill the other party? They had no confidence in their hearts. Ka. Boom. At this moment, the dark red divine dragon exclaimed. Great, the array is broken. Everyone run. Kid, let's hurry up and leave. The dark red divine dragon roared. The eyes of Lin Xian and the others lit up. In an instant, his dragon sword domain enveloped everyone from Immortal Palace and flew into the distance. Let's go. He called out to Murong Qingqing and Shinjingqiu and quickly left. Off to the side, No Flower, Leaf Daodenier, the Grand Xia Prince, the Alcade Holy Sun, and the others all shouted coldly. They took their people and left. It was impossible for them to fight back now. There were 16 terrifying Bat Kings and they simply couldn't fight back. They could only hurry and escape. Those who were too slow would probably be killed. Whoosh, whoosh. Everyone fled in all directions. Everyone fled in different directions. Their speed was extremely fast. Some were even willing to burn their spiritual power, take secret pills, and use secret techniques to increase their speed. The 16 Bloodwing Bat Kings chased after him. One of them headed toward the Demon Emperor Palace, and the other toward Leaf Denier. One of them charged towards the Gu family. These three great sages were very powerful and acted alone. The others had more or less joined forces. Among them, two of the Bat Kings charged towards Lin Xian. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian's face darkened, and the dark red dragon cursed. Fuck. Why are there two of them? They were about to go crazy. Even Leaf Denier and the Gu family had one. Why were there two of them on their side? Could it be that the Bloodwing Bat King had recognized their strength? But what kind of joke was this? They suddenly felt the treatment of the Demon Emperor Palace. Damn it! Xingtian also roared. Shen Jingqiu and Murong Qingqing also focused their gazes. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He roared, and the dragon sword domain turned into an azure dragon, enveloping everyone and increasing his speed again. However, the two Bloodwing Bat Kings followed closely behind. In the end, they even directly blocked their path. Not only them but the others were also affected. For a moment, a great battle broke out. Kid fight. With so many of us, I don't believe that we can't kill him. Don't you have a flower protector? Let's set one first. Lin Xian nodded, and the flower protector floated above his head. To be honest, they were not particularly afraid of the two Bloodwing Bat Kings. Lin Xian had many trump cards on his side. There was also the Sage's Hand Bone and the Black Earth. Buzz buzz buzz. But in the next moment his face turned green. That was because he discovered that the two Bloodwing Bat Kings had once again created 3 more doppelgangers. Damn it. 5 Bloodwing Bat Kings appeared on their side in an instant. How could they fight? They were not the only ones. Roars could be heard from other places as well. Those Bloodwing Bat Kings that besieged the sacred ground also transformed into clones. More Bloodwing Bat Kings appeared. For a moment, screams were heard. No, why would they transform into clones? Lin Xian supported the Dragon Sword domain and floated the Flower Protector, blocking the void first. They did not act rashly. The 5 Bat Kings were also glaring at him. There must be a reason. There must be a reason. Why did these guys have clones? Damn it, why is this happening? Lin Xian thought quickly. Previously they were targeting Yan Ryu and now they were targeting them. Not only that, but the Gu family and the Yi family were also targeted. Could it be a bloodline? Lin Xian's pupils constricted. Bloodline? What bloodline? The dark red dragon was puzzled. Lin Xian said, "That's right, it must be the power of bloodline. We don't know Yan Ryu's identity, but it seems that her identity and status are even more powerful than Huo Tiandu's. Thinking about it, the power of her bloodline must be very terrifying. That's why these Bloodwing Bat Kings targeted her." Apart from that, the Gu family and the Yi family were also clan of the ancients, and the bloodline of the great emperor flowed in their veins. Especially Yi Wudao, who had a sacred body. That was why they were targeted. No Flower also had a mysterious bloodline. There were also other saints and saintesses. All the major sects and clans with bloodline power were targeted. We have more on our side. Ruffian Dragon, you don't have to say anything. If the monster race knew about your bloodline, they would probably go crazy. Qing Cheng and Qiu also have shocking bloodlines. Peacock also has the bloodline of the Great Bright Lord. That's why we are being targeted. Damn it, that's really the case. The dark red dragon thought for a moment and realized that Lin Xian's guess was right. The others' expressions changed. That shouldn't be the case. 5 of them had bloodlines. How could there be 5 of them? There must be bloodline power among the others. That should be because they didn't have enough bloodline power. Whether it was Ruffian Dragon, Qiu, or Qing Cheng, Yi Wudao, or no Flower, their bloodline power was top-notch. Could be said that it could shatter the past and present. These Bloodwing Bat Kings were guardians. Could it be that the monster saint gave them an order before he died? Did he ask them to collect the top-notch bloodline power? Chapter 2543. Lin Xian still couldn't figure it out, but he guessed that it was most likely the case. These Bloodwing Bat Kings were indeed there to collect bloodline power, which was why they were targeted. 1, 2, 3, 4, there was still one left. Temple Master, what bloodline power do you have? Peacock asked from behind. Lin Xian shook his head. I don't have bloodline power. No. Hearing this, everyone was stunned. They couldn't believe it. Their temple master was so powerful, but he didn't have bloodline power. That was too unbelievable. That didn't seem right. Who was the extra one targeting? The dark red dragon frowned. It's me. The 1-pound Xing Tian said, I have a spatial bloodline. As expected. The dark red dragon sighed. That makes sense. However, we should think about how to deal with these 5 big guys. It seems that if we don't move, they won't move either. Why don't we stay here and wait for them? Xing Tian, take out the black demon ship. The other disciples boarded the ship and controlled it. Yes. Xing Tian waved his hand, and the black demon ship appeared. Immediately, the disciples of the Immortal Palace all entered the black demon ship and activated the formation inside to resist. I'll seal one with Flower Protector and another with the Sage's Hand Bone. There are 3 left. Qingqing, take one with Qiu. Xing Tian, take Peacock and the others and fight one with the black demon ship. Leave the last one to me and Ruffian Dragon. In an instant, Lin Xian distributed the tasks. These people quickly took action. Lin Xian took out the Sage's Hand Bone and floated it in the air. A terrifying pressure surged and the entire space froze in an instant. Soon, he and Flower Protector sealed 2 of them. These 2 weapons of mass destruction were already very powerful even before they were unsealed. If they broke the seal, they would probably be able to seal them. However, Lin Xian didn't want to break the seal unless he had no other choice. After all, the appearance of the Big Dipper coffin this time was related to him breaking the Sage's Hand Bone. He couldn't guarantee that something terrifying would happen if he broke the seal again. He might as well resist it himself first. If he really couldn't hold on, he would use it. Erupt together. Lin Xian, the Crimson Dragon God, Murong Qingqing, Shinjingqiu, Xing Tian, and the others were all using their own unique skills. Peacock and the rest coordinated their attacks with the Black Demon ship. This battle was earth-shattering and it took a very long time. It had already lasted for 3 days and 3 nights. Lin Xian and the others were about to run out of energy. Fortunately, they had a lot of natural treasures in their hands. Moreover, the more they fought, the more excited they became because this was the best battle they had ever had. They could use this to improve their combat awareness and experience. After all, it wasn't something that could happen at any time. Finally, on the 7th day of the battle, Lin Xian felt that it was about time. He began to use his trump card to kill. Whoosh! The great dragon sword soul erupted, and the 4 seals on the ancient dragon abyss sword were undone. A Bloodwing Bat King was sent flying. There was a sword wound on its body that couldn't be healed. This scene shocked the people at the checkpoint. They didn't expect their temple master's sword chi to be so terrifying. As expected, Lin Xian managed to severely injure a Bloodwing Bat King with the help of the great dragon sword soul. However, the Bloodwing Bat King was too terrifying. There were Dao patterns in its body. Unless the Dao patterns were erased, it would be impossible to kill it. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to kill it completely. Kid, use that thing. Didn't you catch a lot of insects like the gold-devouring beetles? See if you can destroy them. The Crimson Dragon God reminded. Okay. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. He had forgotten about this. When he first entered the cave, he caught 100 of these black insects, and he could use his soul to control them. Now that he used it, the 100 black insects flew out. They fought against the severely injured Bloodwing Bat King. The Bloodwing Bat King sent the black insects flying. However, these insects were made of darkness magic crystals, and were very sturdy. Their bodies were not inferior to the Bloodwing Bat King's. Therefore they could fly out and come back again. For a while, the 2 sides were locked in a fierce battle. However, not only were these black insects hard, but they could also devour everything. Sure enough, before long, one of the Bloodwing Bat Kings let out a miserable roar. Many holes appeared on its body. They were all bitten by these black insects. Bite its head. Lin Xian controlled these black insects to crawl toward the Bloodwing Bat King's head. He guessed that even if there were Dao patterns, they should be in the head and the heart. Therefore, he split up and attacked the Bloodwing Bat King's head and heart respectively. The Bloodwing Bat King struggled frantically. Its body was overflowing with blood and mysterious runes flashed. However, these black insects were indeed very strange. They could cut through everything. In the end, they broke the Bloodwing Bat King's heart and brain respectively. They bit the Dao patterns in them. The Bloodwing Bat King screamed. It was no longer invincible. In the end, it was killed and turned into a bloody mist. Whoosh! The bloody mist drifted in all directions. The Crimson Dragon God exclaimed. He felt that his dragon blood had been stimulated. This was great. Could it be that this thing could awaken the power of one's bloodline? Thinking of this, he crazily absorbed it. Not only him, but Murong Qingqing, Shinjingqiu, Xing Tian, and Peacock also absorbed it. They felt that the power of their bloodline was boiling. For a moment, they looked at the remaining Bloodwing Bat Kings with shining eyes. Lin Xian was also surprised. However, he did not have the power of his bloodline. However, he had the Dragon Sword Soul. He realized that this thing also had a revival effect on the Dragon Sword Soul. The power of the Dragon Sword Soul was stronger than before. Although the improvement was not much, Lin Xian could clearly feel it. Kill. Lin Xian was overjoyed. He knew how difficult it was to raise the strength of the great Dragon Sword Soul. Now that there was such an opportunity, how could he let it go? In an instant, everyone attacked again. Using this method, Lin Xian killed all the blood-robed Bat Kings one by one. When he killed the last Bloodwing Bat King, Lin Xian did not kill it. Instead, he bit off the Dao pattern in its brain. Through his heavenly secret divine eyes, he directly controlled the Bloodwing Bat King and planted a beast slave seal in its body. Come here. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a golden light. The Bloodwing Bat King stopped attacking and floated over from the sky. It knelt on one knee on the ground and greeted its master. Very good. Lin Xian flashed a smile while the others around him sucked in a cold breath. No matter how one looked at it, this scene was strange. Such a terrifying Bloodwing Bat King had been subdued. Everyone else heaved a sigh of relief. That was great. This battle was really extremely dangerous. Sure enough, Lin Xian's eyes lit up. He asked, "How long has it been?" Xing Tian calculated. It had been almost a month. Damn, a battle that lasted for a month. These Bloodwing Bat Kings were really terrifying. Chapter 2544. I wonder how the others are doing? Murong Qingqing frowned. They probably didn't feel too good either. Even we barely made it out alive. It was very dangerous. But thinking about it, Yi Wudao and the others must have made it through. Their trump cards aren't any less than ours. Alright, let's rest here and recover our strength. Let's continue. I want to see what's inside this ancient tomb. Everyone sat down cross-legged and rested. After fighting for a month, they had expended a lot of energy. These people rested for 7 days and 7 nights in a row before they were completely recovered. Then they quickly set off and left this place. In other places, Yi Wudao, the Gu family, No Flower, and the others had also experienced a month of battle. They had used their super powerful trump cards to finally kill the Bloodwing Bat King that was chasing them. After recuperating, they set off again. The Fey Imperial Palace, the Four Symbols Sacred Grounds, and the others did the same. However, some of the weaker ones were in trouble. Although they had killed the Bloodwing Bat King in the end, they had also suffered heavy losses. The Five Elements Palace and the Myriad Thunder Sacred Ground were even more miserable. Their saints had already been killed. Now that they had encountered such a powerful Fey King puppet, half of their disciples had been killed. There were even cases where the holy sons of 2 holy lands were killed. The saints of the Illusion Palace and the Nangong family had both fallen. It could be said that this was a very tragic battle. The entire human race had been affected. The more serious ones had half of their members killed, while the less serious ones were covered in injuries and their strength had been greatly reduced. It could be said that the one that had been preserved the most was Lin Xian's Immortal Palace. As they had been well preserved, no one had died. They had only been injured and had expended too much energy. If the people of the other sacred grounds knew about this, what would they think? They would probably vomit blood from anger. Boom, boom, boom. Lin Xian and the others flew forward quickly. They all boarded the black demon ship and turned into a black stream of light. Finally, they arrived at another hall. This hall was very dignified. There were demonic pillars around it, and there were engravings at its feet. It looked incomparably sinister. There were also several halls and secret chambers around it. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian formed a seal with both hands. A pair of golden eyes appeared in the sky and scanned the surroundings. He heaved a sigh of relief as he didn't discover any powerful array formations. Collect them separately and be careful. Don't touch the formation. Yes. Peacock, Hu Yidao, Ghostly, and the others led Immortal Palace's martial artists in all directions and began their search. Lin Xian, the Dark Red Dragon, Murong Qingqing, and the others also split up. Many palaces and pavilions were opened, some of them covered in dust. Yes, there was nothing. Damn it, could it be an empty city? These people are getting a little anxious. It wasn't easy for him to come here. If he didn't bring back some treasures, how could he be at ease? In the distance, Xin Jingqiu cried out in alarm. Brother Lin Xian, come quickly. Seeing this, Lin Xian's figure flashed and flew forward. After passing through several pavilions and halls, he finally arrived in front of Xin Jingqiu. After him, the Dark Red Dragon, Murong Qingqing, Xing Tian, and the others also arrived. Shen Jingqiu pointed to the hall in front and said, "Brother Lin Xian, look inside. There are treasures." Lin Xian and the others looked inside and then gasped. The dark red dragon's eyes were shining. "We're rich, we're rich." The other martial artists from Immortal Palace, Purple Glow Holy Land, and Jade Lake Holy Land also flew over. When they saw this scene, they were also extremely shocked. Everyone was stupefied because inside the palace, there were countless treasure chi emitting resplendent light. Swords, spears, staffs, axes, whips and all kinds of treasures were arranged there. Each of them was like a small sun, emitting a sharp aura. "Qiu, did you find this?" Lin Xian was shocked. Shen Jingqiu said with a smile, "Yes, brother Lin Xian. Looks like my luck is really good. I actually found so many treasures. How is it? I'm awesome, right?" "Qiu is really awesome. Let's split it among the three of us," Lin Xian said. He waved his hand. The martial artists from Immortal Palace walked in. The people from Purple Glow Holy Land and Jade Lake Holy Land were also extremely shocked. The female disciples from Jade Lake Holy Land looked at Lin Xian in surprise. The people from Purple Glow Holy Land were also shocked. In the crowd, the grandsons of the elders who went against Lin Xian had already been killed by the Blood Wing Bat King in the previous battle. Now they only had gratitude for Lin Xian. The people from Immortal Palace and the two great sage quickly walked in and distributed the treasures. Peacock and the others looked at this scene and exclaimed. There were earth-rank treasures inside. They were at least mid-rank treasures, and there were many high-grade and top-grade treasures. There were also a few heaven-rank treasures. This made them extremely jealous. They quickly collected and recorded. When Lin Xian and the rest saw this scene, they smiled as well. "Palace Master, we're really rich." Peacock walked out with a smile on her face. She had already counted clearly. There were 13,000 mid-grade earth-rank treasures, 2,300 high-grade earth-rank treasures, and 108 top-grade earth-rank treasures. Hearing this, Lin Xian also counted these. The dark red divine dragon exclaimed. "Damn, this is too much." They did not expect that there would be so many treasures in this palace. As expected of a saint's palace, it was indeed incomparably rich. Lin Xian also swallowed his saliva. It was indeed a lot. There are 4 treasures with sky-high prices. We've decided that Purple Glow Holy Land will get 1, Jade Lake Holy Land will get 1, and Immortal Palace will get 2. Okay. Lin Xian nodded. He took the 2 heaven-ranked treasures. One was a pagoda and the other was a long saber. In addition, the remaining weapons could be chosen by Immortal Palace's martial artists on the spot. The rest would be rewarded according to their contributions when they returned. Immortal Palace's martial artists exclaimed again and again. They hurried forward to distribute the treasures. Lin Xian gave the heaven-rank pagoda he obtained to Xing Tian. "Thank you, young master." Xing Tian was also excited. He did not expect that Lin Xian would give him a heaven-ranked treasure. Lin Xian smiled. This was a great harvest. It was enough to fill Immortal Palace's treasury. The dark red divine dragon went in and glanced around. He put away all the tables and shelves that held the weapons. These things had been preserved for tens of millions of years without spoiling. They were definitely treasures. The others thought about it and agreed. Thus, they moved everything that could be moved away. The entire palace was empty. Nothing was left. "Let's go." Everyone was overjoyed. Lin Xian nodded and prepared to leave. However, at this moment, he frowned and a golden light appeared in his eyes. Buzz. In the next moment he stretched out his palm. A huge palm of light grabbed forward. Boom. The void trembled and a secret compartment appeared on the ground. Then a dark red stone platform appeared. It was more than a meter tall and appeared in the palace. The stone platform was about 2 meters in diameter. There were 17 simple treasures placed on it. Chapter 2545. On the mysterious stone platform, there were a total of 17 items. They were placed casually and emitted a terrifying aura. There were even some sparkling lights. Feeling this aura, everyone's expression changed. Heaven-grade treasures. Another heaven-grade treasures. 17 heaven-grade treasures. These people went crazy. Their eyes were red and their breathing was rapid. Heavens! Lin Xian exclaimed. As expected, there were still hidden treasures. The others were even more shocked. They did not notice at all. How did the other party find out? The other party's eye technique was too terrifying. Shen Jingqiu said, "Brother Lin Xian, you're too amazing. You can even find them." Lin Xian smiled and pinched Shen Jingqiu's face, then walked up. Chiu Qingqing, come, let's split them. After all, Xin Jingqiu and Murong Qingqing were his women. Lin Xian did not feel bad about giving them treasures. Of the 17 heaven-grade treasures, Xin Jingqiu and Murong Qingqing received 5, and Lin Xian received 7. The two girls were elated and beautiful smiles hung on their lips. Brother Lin Xian, you're so good. Xin Jingqiu tiptoed and kissed Lin Xian's face a few times. Murong Qingqing did not do so, but she looked at Lin Xian with eyes full of love. Alright, continue searching. There are so many palaces here. Maybe there are treasures in other places. Lin Yuxuan waved his hand again. At the same time he gave Peacock, Hui Dao and Ghostly a heaven-grade treasure each. The three of them were overjoyed. Thank you, Hall Master. They were too excited. These people searched quickly. This time they were full of enthusiasm and their eyes were red. In a single palace, there were tens of thousands of earth-grade treasures, and even a dozen heaven-grade treasures. How could they let go of such a huge treasure trove? These people searched carefully, not letting go of even a corner. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He felt that this place wasn't simple. Although there were treasures on the surface, the real treasures were probably hidden in the dark. For example, the stone platform from before. If he hadn't done anything, these people probably wouldn't have discovered it. It had to be kept here for who knew how many years before it could be taken by other intruders. He then activated his heavenly secret god eyes, and a pair of golden eyes floated in the sky, looking down. Suddenly he frowned and a fierce light appeared in his eyes. Whoosh! He floated into the distance. Kid, what did you discover? Seeing this, the dark red divine dragon swayed its tail and followed after him. Lin Xian came to a remote place. This place was very dilapidated and could not even be called a palace. It could only be called a shabby stone house. Are you sure it's here? The dark red dragon looked around, then looked at the magnificent palace and frowned. How could there be treasures in such a dilapidated place? Lin Xian was also confused. However, he said that he had indeed used his heavenly fate divine eye to sense a special aura here. It was very unusual. Xiaobai. Lin Xian took Xiaobai out. Xiaobai's stomach was bulging and he burped. He had followed the holy lady and eaten a lot of heavenly treasures along the way. His stomach was bulging. It had been more than a month and he still hadn't refined them. At this moment he was like a small ball. Therefore he had been hiding in the black earth and sleeping to digest the heavenly treasures that he had eaten. Now that he was caught by Lin Xian, the little guy waved his little claws in protest. Lin Xian knocked on his head helplessly. Little brat, just how many good things have you eaten from the other party? Your stomach is bulging like a ball now? Wuji Xiaobai's eyes widened and kept moving around with a sneaky look. It seemed that he had benefited a lot from following the holy lady. Alright, hurry up and let me see if there are any treasures here. Xiaobai nodded and began to search with the treasure bowl. Soon, his body swayed and he flew forward. Wuji pointed to a piece of land behind him. You said that the treasure is here? Lin Xian asked. Xiaobai nodded and waved his little claws. Let me see what it is. The dark red divine dragon waved his dragon claws and grabbed forward. The ground split open and a deep pit appeared. The dark red divine dragon's claws made a clang. He frowned. There was indeed something that could withstand his attack. It was definitely not an ordinary item. He waved his claws again and the ground completely split open. It appeared. The dark red divine dragon cried out in surprise. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. He found something in the deep pit below. That thing was very thin and folded into a square. There were dense patterns on it. It seemed to be a piece of clothing. However, it was too thin. The dark red divine dragon grabbed it. Sure enough, after the good clothes were unfolded, he found that it was something similar to a Taoist robe. Lin Xian looked at it and found that it was engraved with runes. Its aura was obviously a heaven stage treasure. Moreover, from the looks of it, it should be a medium-grade heaven stage treasure. Not bad. I wonder how effective it is. Lin Xian was somewhat happy. He was not worried about his attack power at all. With the Dragon Sword Soul, his attack power could continue to increase. However, his defense was much weaker. Among the Holy Sons he was only at the middle level. However, things were different with this Taoist robe. Lin Xian carefully checked the Taoist robe and found that there was nothing wrong with it. Then he put it on. Whoosh! He poured his power into it and countless flames suddenly appeared on the Taoist robe. It was very strange. The flaming Taoist robe. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Ruffian dragon, try attacking it. When the dark red divine dragon heard that, it waved its dragon claws and a sharp ray of light flew out. Lin Xian did not use anything, nor did he flash away. He wanted to see how strong the defense of the Taoist robe was. With a clang, the void split open, and the red ray of light crashed into it, producing a sonorous sound. Lin Xian did not use any power, and the attack was completely neutralized by the flames. So powerful. It's definitely a medium-grade heaven stage Taoist robe. You're rich, kid. The dark red divine dragon was also pleasantly surprised. It did not try to snatch the robe. Its body was very sturdy. Besides, it could not wear the robe. No, you have to give me something to compensate me. The dark red divine dragon coaxed and pestered Lin Xian to get 2 low-grade heaven stage weapons. Lin Xian would not be stingy with the dark red divine dragon. He had more than 10 heaven stage weapons in his possession. Moreover, he was even happier that he had obtained the flaming Taoist robe. With it, Lin Xian's defense would be more than enough. It would be very difficult for an ordinary holy son to break through his defense. Unless they use some powerful trump cards. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon raised their heads. Those people are here. As expected, they were martial artists from the other holy lands. Seeing that, Lin Xian's figure flickered and he flew out. He put away the flames on his Taoist robe. In the distance, the martial artists from the Immortal Palace and the 2 great sage lands who were still searching for other palaces and pavilions also raised their heads. Oh no, they're here. Damn it, hurry up. These people are searching like crazy. If we don't find them soon, they'll snatch them away. Someone's here. When the martial artists in the sky saw that, they instantly cried out in surprise. What are they looking for? Could it be? It's a treasure. Hurry up and find it. Chapter 2546. Previously, they had suffered such heavy injuries that their hearts were itching with hatred. Now that there were treasures, they naturally wanted to snatch them. Otherwise, it would not make up for the resentment in their hearts. Seeing that these people were about to attack, a cold shout was heard. Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu appeared in the sky. It's them. The Jade Lake Saintess and Xixia Saintess. Seeing this scene, many people exclaimed in surprise. They did not expect it to be them. It seemed that they had also survived the pursuit of the Blood-Winged Bat King. They did not know what happened to their little lover. It would be best if he was killed. That would relieve the hatred in their hearts. The person they were talking about was naturally Lin Xian. But soon the people of the Tai dynasty and Tuoba family were disappointed, because they saw 2 figures floating in the distance. It was Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon. Damn it, this kid is still alive. Judging from his appearance, he did not seem to have suffered any injuries. How is this possible? How did they escape? The Tai dynasty's crown prince gritted his teeth. The Tuoba family's holy son also looked gloomy. There were also 5 elements palace, 9 heavens sacred ground and 1,000 thunder sacred ground. They had paid a heavy price in order to kill the Bat King. Countless disciples and experts under his command had died. Lin Xian ignored these people. He looked around and saw Gu Santong, Yi Wudao, No Flower and the others. He immediately smiled and said, "Everyone, how have you been? Brother Lin, I didn't expect you to be here so early." "Yes, there are no treasures here," Yi Wudao and No Flower said with a smile. "There are indeed many treasures. Hurry up and search," Lin Xian said. Hearing that there were treasures, Yi Wudao, No Flower, and the others were pleasantly surprised. They waved their hands and asked their subordinates to hurry up and search. The people of the Tai dynasty, 5 Elements Palace, and the others also moved. "I wonder what treasures Brother Lin has found during this period of time?" A cold voice was heard. It was the Yinyang sect's holy son. He did not expect the other party to arrive before them. Moreover, they did not know how long the other party had been here. If all the treasures were taken away by the other party, wouldn't they suffer a huge loss? The Yinyang saint wanted to check if the other party had snatched any incredible treasures. "What? Do you want to know what I got?" Lin Xian's lips curled up. "Hand over 10 deity crystals and I'll tell you." The Yinyang saint's face darkened. Divine gems weren't cheap. 10 divine gems were a huge fortune. How could he give it to anyone just to get some information? Therefore his expression was unfriendly. "Young Master Lin, your clothes seem very special. Why haven't I seen you wear them before?" In the Yaoguang Holy Land, the Yaoguang saintess said indifferently. Her words immediately attracted everyone's attention. "That's right, this Taoist robe looks very ancient and doesn't seem to be something from the modern era. This should be an ancient treasure. It couldn't be the treasure that this brat obtained, right?" The saints and saintesses all stared at Lin Xian as they discussed among themselves. However, Lin Xian frowned. This Yaoguang holy daughter seemed to be speaking casually, but she was actually trying to sow discord between them. It seemed that she was still holding a grudge about the little white monkey. Indeed, the little white monkey had eaten so many treasures from the other party, but the other party did not get anything in the end. The other party had acted magnanimous then, but now it seemed that she was indeed holding a grudge. Everyone turned to look at Lin Xian and stared at his Taoist robe. What? You want my Taoist robe? Think about it first. Do you have the ability to do so? If anyone wants to accompany the 5 Elements Saint and 10,000 Thunder Saint on their way to the Netherworld, I don't mind sending them on their way. Lin Xian did not release any terrifying murderous aura, but his words made everyone's expression change. Especially the holy sons and holy daughters. They all frowned. The person in front of them was not a kind person, nor was he a weakling. He was a terrifying demon king. He was a powerful being who had killed 3 holy sons. Ordinary people were no match for him. A bunch of trash. If you don't dare to fight with me, then scram. Disappear in front of me. Lin Xian shouted coldly. That one sentence was enough to intimidate these people. Come to think of it, these people weren't much. You're courting death. Kid, don't be too arrogant. Do you really think that no one can deal with you? That's right. Even if the 5 Elements Saint and the others are holy sons, they are only average among us. There are many holy sons and holy daughters who are more powerful than them. The Yin-Yang Saint's voice was cold, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. Is that so? Then have you surpassed them? Lin Xian stepped forward. Sword chi erupted from his body, forming a terrifying sword chi storm. Are you trying to stand up for the 5 Elements Saint and the others? Or are you trying to prove that you are more powerful than them? But no matter which one it is, go ahead. I'll take it. You're courting death. The Yin-Yang Saint was enraged. His opponent was so aggressive that he was about to explode. His Yin-Yang sect was an unparalleled sect in middle ground, and he, the Yin-Yang Saint, was an outstanding genius. Those princes and princesses had to be extremely respectful when they saw him. But now he was actually being looked down upon. Moreover, this was in front of all the young prodigies in the entire world. If he backed down now, he would probably lose all his face and never be able to raise his head again. Kid, I'll let you know the price of provoking me. The Yin-Yang Saint revealed a ferocious expression. Yin and Yang Qi erupted from his eyes and body. A huge hand that covered the sky slammed down. This hand was as black as ink. It was like a demonic mountain that mercilessly pressed down from the sky. With a loud boom, the entire space exploded. The surrounding light also dimmed. That terrifying power made the cultivators who were looking for treasures in the distance almost kneel on the ground. It was too terrifying. The Yin-Yang Saint was indeed very powerful. It seemed that he was more powerful than the 5 Elements Saint and Wan Lei Xingzi. Lin Xian snorted. If the other party really dared to attack, then don't blame him for being merciless. He used the Heavenly Dragon's 8 steps and moved in the sky. Every step he took caused the entire space to tremble violently. Countless large black cracks spread out from under his feet in all directions. The sword chi on his body pierced through everything. They were like illusory true dragons that moved freely in the sky. It was too terrifying. At this moment, Lin Xian's aura kept rising. He was like a sword god that had descended from the 9 heavens. Everyone could not help but tremble. Even the saints and saintesses furrowed their brows. Many people's expressions changed drastically. Retreat quickly. They quickly retreated and made enough space. Indeed, in the next moment, the sword chi erupted and roared in all directions. It destroyed all the terrifying dark energy in the surroundings. Lin Xian did not attack. Just the sword chi on his body was enough to blast away the black hand. However, this was the Yin-Yang Saint after all. He was very powerful. Although the black hand was shattered, it still pressed down mercilessly. Boom, boom, boom. The space collapsed. A huge black hole appeared and spread out in all directions as if it was going to swallow everything. Chapter 2547. Bus. As expected, Lin Xian was swallowed by the black hole in the next moment. Countless berserk energies kept surging, wanting to destroy him. What? He was swallowed up. That kid didn't dodge. The surrounding people were shocked. The disciples of the Yin-Yang sect even sneered. What a mortal haul. How dare he compete with me, the Yin-Yang Saint, with such strength? He's courting death. They thought he was a powerful figure after all the boasting. They didn't expect him to be so weak. That kid would be seriously injured even if he didn't die from this attack. Countless mocking voices were heard. The Yin-Yang Saint sneered. He exerted more force in his palm, and the yin and yang qi in his body exploded. He wanted to take advantage of the situation and kill Lin Xian completely. The violent energy lasted for a long time before it gradually disappeared. The sky regained its clarity and light reappeared. It was as if the dark clouds had left. Everyone turned their gazes forward. But the next moment they were stunned. What? Impossible. I don't believe it. Everyone was shocked. The eyelids of the saints and saintesses were also twitching. The yin-yang saint's expression was even worse. He realized that Lin Xian's figure was floating in the black hole in front of him. However, Lin Xian was unscathed. How could this be? His attack could even seriously injure a powerful figure, let alone Lin Xian. He could understand if Lin Xian had used some kind of treasure or secret technique. After all, they were all saints, who didn't have their own trump cards. But Lin Xian stood in the void and didn't seem to have used anything. This was unacceptable. Lin Xian didn't have a sacred body. How could he have such a strong physique? Even a sacred body wouldn't be so terrifying. Is this your strength? Just as everyone was stunned, a cold and disdainful voice was heard. Lin Xian stood with his arms crossed as he walked out of the black hole. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes shone like stars. He walked forward step by step. His ancient Taoist robe fluttered in the wind, making him look like an immortal. What yin-yang saint? You're so powerful. I thought it was some kind of world-shaking figure, but I didn't expect that your attack was so weak that it was pitiful. Lin Xian sneered again. Damn it. Kid, don't be arrogant. The yin-yang saint roared. The members of the yin-yang sect turned pale and trembled. They really couldn't imagine what was going on. Could it be that his physique had surpassed that of a saintly being? No, it was his Taoist robe. Damn it, this is a treasure. In the distance, the first prince of the Tai dynasty screamed. The people of the Tuoba family and the Nangong family also exclaimed. At this moment, everyone stared at the ancient Taoist robe. After the Yao Guang saintess's reminder, they realized that this might be the new treasure that the other party had obtained. However, to their surprise, the power of the treasure far exceeded their expectations. Such a terrifying attack had actually been completely blocked by the defense of the Taoist robe. This was at least a heaven-step treasure. Moreover, it wasn't an ordinary heaven-ranked defensive artifact. Damn it, this brat actually has such a treasure. How could his luck be so good? He had to snatch it. Many saints were envious. If they could get their hands on this Taoist robe, their defensive power would not be weaker than a saint physique. To them, this was definitely a huge temptation. The yin-yang saint was also tempted. 2 balls of black and white flames danced in his eyes, exuding a mysterious power. As expected, it was the effect of this Taoist robe. Humph, brat, what are you so arrogant for? You're just borrowing the power of a heaven-step treasure. Without this Taoist robe, you won't even be able to withstand a single blow. However, so what if you have this Taoist robe? Do you think that I can't defeat you? Speaking of this, his eyes shone with a cold light. Such a good thing. You're just a piece of trash. You don't deserve to have it. As he spoke, an unparalleled light exploded from his body. It was like a sun, making it hard for people to open their eyes. The black and white light flashed in the sky, illuminating the entire palace. The space collapsed and shattered. It couldn't withstand this power at all. So powerful. Everyone exclaimed. The saints also looked solemn. It seemed that the yin-yang saint was going to use his true power. The yin-yang sect had the mysterious and terrifying power of yin and yang. They were the 2 most ancient powers in the world. They couldn't be underestimated. The yin-yang saint's power was probably beyond their imagination. Sounds of discussion could be heard. These people looked solemn. Even Yi Wudao, the Alcade Saint, No Flower, the twin kings of Middle State, and the others looked on with flickering eyes. Indeed, the power of yin and yang was mysterious and unfathomable. The yin-yang saint strode forward. The entire sky trembled. Everyone felt suffocated. It was as if 100,000 mountains were pressing down on them. Buzz. Yin and yang qi exploded, turning into a yin-yang image. It circled in the sky, trying to suppress everything. It was obvious that the yin-yang saint was really angry. Boom. Boom. Everywhere it passed, the space shattered. It couldn't withstand it at all. Lin Xian also felt a great pressure. He channeled his power into his Taoist robe. Suddenly, flames danced on the ancient Taoist robe, resisting the bone pressure. The power of a mid-grade heaven-step treasure wasn't a joke. After doing all this, Lin Xian looked up at the sky. The yin-yang sect? Just nice. Today I'll experience the power of yin and yang and see if it's as the legends say. Lin Xian's sword qi became more and more terrifying. As the sword streaked across the sky, heaven and earth lost their color. The sun and moon dimmed, accompanied by the roar of a dragon. It was too terrifying. At this moment, the saints felt as if their chi and blood had frozen. It was as if their bodies had been cut in half by the sword. They had never felt such a thing before. Many people retreated frantically. Clang. Boom. An earth-shattering sound rang out. The yin-yang image in the sky vibrated violently. A huge sword light slashed on it. The two collided. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Countless cracks appeared on the yin-yang image. With the sword light as the center, the cracks spread in all directions. It was about to cover the entire yin-yang image. Damn it. Suppress it. The yin-yang saint's pupils constricted. He didn't expect his opponent's sword to be so powerful. The sword was about to shatter his yin-yang image. Brr. With a roar, the power of yin and yang in his body spun rapidly. The yin-yang image spun, releasing two streams of qi. They were like two huge black and white dragons. The entire space trembled. This was an earth-shattering battle. Both of them were peerless prodigies. Now that they were attacking, they were using terrifying mystiques. It was truly a battle between a dragon and a tiger. It was too terrifying. The yin-yang saint lived up to his reputation. That kid was even more terrifying. He actually blocked the yin-yang image. Legend had it that the yin-yang image came from heaven and earth and contained unparalleled power. But at this moment, it couldn't suppress its opponent. The saints and saintesses discussed quickly. Yi Wudao, the Alcade saint, and the others watched with rapt attention. Boom. Streams of sword chi swept across. Suddenly, an even more dazzling sword light lit up in the sky. It was like a peerless divine light. Boom. Crack. Finally, the yin-yang image couldn't take it anymore and shattered. It was split in half by the sword. The yin-yang saint was sent flying. There was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. He was injured. The yin-yang saint had actually lost in this competition. All the prodigies exclaimed in disbelief. Chapter 25:48. Damn it! Damn it! The yin-yang saint roared in anger. He did not expect that the other party could really injure him. This was a great humiliation. He snorted and wanted to use his trump card to fight the other party. However, at this moment, several other figures walked up to him. Wait, brother yin-yang. A cold sneer was heard. Hearing this, everyone turned their heads to look. Even the yin-yang saint frowned. A man in a dragon robe walked over from behind. It was the first prince of the Tai dynasty. Seeing this scene, the surrounding people were extremely puzzled. What was the other party doing here at this time? But they also knew that he seemed to have a grudge against Lin Xian. Could it be that he wanted to join forces with the yin-yang saint to attack him? What do you want? The yin-yang saint asked coldly. The first prince smiled. Brother yin-yang, why do you have to fight? There are many ways to get the robe. As he spoke, he sent a message to the yin-yang saint. We've already joined forces with the Twin Kings, 5 Elements Palace, 9 Heavens Sacred Ground, 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground, and the Tuoba family. We're going to attack together with the Nangong family to kill this guy. We're holding him back. When he lets down his guard, we'll kill him. The yin-yang saint was stunned. Then his eyes shone with a terrifying light. He did not expect so many people to want to kill him. It seemed that he had really angered everyone. But this was good. The yin-yang saint suppressed his excitement and did not attack again. The first prince of the Tai dynasty smiled and said, Brother Lin, we really like the robe you're wearing. Why don't you name a price? How about 1 divine crystal? Hearing this, everyone exclaimed in surprise. What a joke. How could 1 divine crystal buy such an ancient robe? The first prince of the Tai dynasty clearly did not want to buy it. It seemed that he was here to mess things up. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes as his lips curled into a cold smile. This first prince really did not know what was good for him. He did not have a chance to teach him a lesson. Who would have thought that he would take the initiative to do so? Did he really think that Yi Fujian did not know what he was planning? He had heard everything when the first prince transmitted the yin-yang saint's life. This was because his soul power far surpassed these people, and even surpassed them by an entire level. Therefore, Lin Xian was well aware that these people were planning to kill him. This first prince was truly courting death. It seemed like there was a need to kill him. Lin Xian looked ahead, his heart filled with killing intent. At this moment, the yin-yang saint laughed coldly. I'll give you 2 divine gems. Brother Lin, can you sell it to me? The two of them were extremely arrogant, as if they did not put Lin Xian in their eyes at all. The other holy sons and holy daughters frowned. They didn't know what the two of them were up to. I took out 3 crystals. At this moment, the central state Twin King stepped forward and strode forward. At the same time he named a price. I took out 4 of them. I have 5. The Tuoba family, Nangong family, Myriad Lightning Sacred Ground, 5 Element Palace, and 9 Firmament Divine Emperor's people stepped forward. Placed the bid. It seemed like he really wanted to fight for this ancient Taoist robe. However, the price made people's mouths twitch. Not to mention 10, even 50 or 100 gems. They wouldn't be able to buy it. These people were clearly provoking the other party by offering such a low price. Not good. What were these people trying to do? Brother Lin seemed to be in danger. In the distance, No Flower frowned when he saw this scene. This was because he realized that the people who had gone forward to report the price had unknowingly surrounded Lin Xian. Brother Lin, look at how many of us are bidding. Why don't you give us a response? Who do you intend to sell this ancient Taoist robe to? As soon as he finished speaking, the surrounding experts who had made a bid attacked together. Their attacks were very sudden and they were decisive in their attacks. All sorts of great mystiques and killing moves instantly shot towards Lin Xian. The sky was covered, and the void in front of him was instantly blasted apart. Boom boom boom. The violent energy made people tremble and many people fell to the ground. Not good. Yi Wudao, No Flower, and the others cried out in alarm. In the distance, Murong Qingqing, Shinjingqiu, and the others cried out in alarm. The warriors of the Immortal Palace shouted crazily. Palace Master. They didn't expect these people to be so despicable. So many people attacked together and it was a sneak attack. It's over. That kid is dead for sure. With so many powerful saints attacking, even a peerless almighty would be blasted to pieces. That was for sure. Let him be arrogant again. This time let's see how he dies. In the distance, the dark red dragon Xing Tian, Murong Qingqing, Shinjingqiu, and the others quickly flew over. No Flower and Yi Wudao also wanted to attack. However, the Twin Kings, the Crown Prince, the Yin-Yang Saint, and the others sneered. They joined hands and the two sides confronted each other. Damn it, get out of the way. How dare you attack Brother Xian? The dark red dragon, Murong Qingqing, and the others roared angrily. Their bodies were filled with biting cold killing intent. You want to save him? Stop dreaming. Today is the day this kid dies. The Yin-Yang Saint sneered. The Crown Prince's expression was even more ferocious. He dared to go against the Tai dynasty. It's already a miracle that he's still alive. Do you think he can still live? How dare he kill my saint? He deserves to die. That's right. It's too easy to kill him. The people of the 5 Elements Palace, the 1,000 Thunder Sacred Ground, and the 9 Firmament Saint Emperor also sneered. They had finally avenged their saint. However, amidst the laughter, a cold voice sounded. So many people attacked together. You are indeed despicable and shameless. However, do you think you can hurt me like this? What a joke. Ignorant. This voice floated clearly into everyone's ears. What? The eyelids of those who attacked were twitching wildly. The surrounding people were also stunned. They all turned their heads to look. A figure appeared in the void in the distance. Was it Lin Xian? His ancient Taoist robe fluttered in the wind. He didn't look injured at all. He wasn't injured? That's impossible. The Twin Kings of the Middle Ground were shocked. The Yin-Yang Saint, the Crown Prince, and the Crown Prince were also crazed. No. Even if it was a heaven-grade treasure robe, it couldn't withstand the joint attack of so many people. Indeed, they were crazy. How could Lin Xian resist them? They didn't know that the moment they attacked, Lin Xian had already used the teleportation Black Jade platform to break through the void and teleport out. He didn't receive any energy impact at all. You're courting death. How dare you attack me together? Get ready. Kneel down obediently and accept your death. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with cold killing intent. He wouldn't spare any of them. Whoosh. Lin Xian's body swayed as he charged forward. His target was the Crown Prince of the Tai dynasty. The surrounding people were shocked. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be so powerful. As soon as he was out of danger, he launched a strong counterattack. The Chosen jumped in fright, and the first prince's pupils constricted. However, he soon revealed a sinister smile. Boom. An earth-shattering sound was heard. Then Lin Xian was sent flying. He spat out a mouthful of blood in the air and stabilized his body. The ancient Taoist robe on his body burned fiercely, neutralizing most of the power. What happened? That kid was sent flying. And he was injured? Heavens, I'm not dreaming, am I? When did the Crown Prince become so powerful? His strength has already surpassed that of a saint. Exclamations of surprise were heard. The dark red divine dragon, Murong Qingqing, and the others were also nervous again. Originally they were relieved that Lin Xian had escaped, but now they were nervous again. Damn it, who the hell is he? How can the crown prince be so powerful? Could it be that he swallowed some kind of pill? Yi Wudao, No Flower, and the Alcade Saint were also focused. They didn't understand what had happened. However, in the next moment they were stunned. Chapter 2549. It was an old man with a head full of white hair and an aged face. A royal elder. Everyone exclaimed and their eyelids twitched. So that was the case. It was not the first prince of the Tai dynasty who could force the other party to retreat with one palm. It was the royal elder who did it. The royal elder's aura was too terrifying. His eyes were like a magic lamp, shining in all directions. Obviously, he was a powerful being whose cultivation had reached the late-stage 8-star king realm. All the saints had grave expressions on their faces. Such a peerless expert posed a great threat to their lives. However, the first prince, the Yin-Yang saint, the twin kings, and the others sneered. This time the other party was dead for sure. Damn it. The dark red divine dragon appeared. Murong Qingqing and the others roared angrily. Xing Tian even roared. They wanted to attack, but the twin kings and the others stopped them. You want to save me? Stop dreaming. I'll definitely die today. No one can save me. Cold laughter could be heard. Xing Tian roared angrily and was about to attack. However, at this moment, loud laughter could be heard from afar. Ah! Ah! As soon as this voice was heard, everyone was stunned. Xing Tian did not attack and the two sides faced each other. For a moment, countless people looked into the distance. They realized that the person who laughed was Lin Xian. Lin Xian stopped, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and stood up. A late-stage 8-star king. Lin Xian said coldly. I've underestimated your shamelessness. You sent a late-stage 8-star king to kill me. Kid, no matter what you say, you'll definitely die today. The royal elder's voice was cold. You're already doing me a great favor by asking me to kill you. What last words do you have? Leave them all. Otherwise you won't have a chance. You're just a late-stage 8-star king. You want to kill me? You're too naive. Lin Xian stopped smiling and a cold light flashed in his eyes. A terrifying aura rose from his body. No way. This kid wants to fight a late-stage 8-star king? What a joke. Although he was powerful, the difference between them was too great. This kid seemed to have an incredible trump card. That's right, didn't he say that he had something belonging to a saint? Voices of discussion could be heard, and the royal elder at the front sneered. Brat, so what if you have a trump card? Do you think that as members of the royal family we don't? He shouted coldly, and a heaven-grade saber instantly appeared on his body, emitting an incomparably terrifying aura. Heaven-rank wrap blade. It seemed that the Tai dynasty was well prepared. That's right, the imperial family's elders should have many other trump cards. However, a late-stage 8-star expert could easily kill his opponent with a heaven-grade saber. He didn't even need to use his other trump cards. The imperial family elder held the treasured saber in his hand and revealed a ferocious smile as he walked forward step by step. For me to kill you is no different from crushing an ant. Now kneel down and kowtow to my Tai dynasty and admit your wrongs. I can give you a quick death. You want me to kowtow and admit my mistake? Dream on. Old man, you will soon regret this. Lin Xian sneered as killing intent surfaced in his eyes. Acting recklessly. In front of absolute power you can't resist at all. The imperial family elder was unmoved. So what if his opponent had a treasure? He was not strong enough to unleash the power of the treasure. And he was a late-stage 8-star expert. His strength was absolutely terrifying and unimaginable. He slashed out with his saber, and an incomparably terrifying power pierced through heaven and earth, completely enveloping Lin Xian. Damn it. Stop it. Xing Tian, the dark red dragon, Murong Qingqing, and Xin Jingxiu attacked crazily at this moment. However, the twin kings of Jianghu were not to be trifled with. With so many saints joining forces, they blocked the attacks of Xing Tian and the others for a while. Boom, 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 boom. Then a scream was heard. A figure was sent flying, crashing through the void. What? Those who were watching the battle from afar were stunned. That was because they realized that the person who flew backward was not Lin Xian, but the imperial family elder. How was that possible? How could the imperial family elder fly backward? He was a late-stage 8-star expert, and he was invincible. Everyone was stunned. Even the Yin-Yang saint, the twin kings, and the crown prince did not attack. They retreated frantically and turned their heads to look behind them. The Imperial Dynasty's martial artists screamed even louder. Xing Tian and the others breathed a sigh of relief. Although they did not know what had happened, it seemed that Lin Xian should be fine. Brother Xian. Brother Lin Xian. Murong Qingqing and Xin Jingqiu also shouted softly. In front of them, the light that filled the sky disappeared. Lin Xian stood in the void, unharmed. In front of him stood a blood-red figure, exuding a terrifying aura. What is that? Everyone looked over and was so frightened that their scalps went numb. Bat King. Damn it, it was actually Bat King. Everyone went crazy. They quickly retreated, their faces full of horror. Even Yi Wudao, the Alcade Saint No Flower, and the others were facing a formidable enemy. It couldn't be helped. Bat King had left a deep impression on them. Thinking back, how much effort had they expended and how many trump cards had they used before they were able to kill him? But they did not expect him to appear again. For a moment, everyone was in danger. However, Murong Qingqing and the others breathed a sigh of relief, because they knew what was going on. But the others screamed, "That's not right. Why is Bat King standing there and not attacking that kid? Damn it, why does it look like he's protecting that kid?" When this voice came out, everyone's eyes popped out. How was this possible? Bat King was such a terrifying tomb guardian. He did not even care about the people of Demon Imperial Palace and killed them mercilessly. How could he protect a human kid? Everyone could not believe it. In the distance, the people of Demon Imperial Palace were also stunned when they saw this scene. Impossible. How did this kid do it? The powerhouses of Demon Imperial Palace were shocked. Hua Tiandu's face was gloomy. Yen Ryu, however, narrowed her eyes. Just now, even she wanted to lend a hand and help. Who would have thought that the other party would turn the tables so quickly? But soon Yen Ryu's lips curled into a smile. An angry roar rang out, and the endless void shattered. An old figure quickly charged over. He carried a murderous aura that filled the sky, as if he was a peerless demon. Damn kid. This figure was naturally the Imperial Family Grand Elder. He had just been sent flying by a huge force. He was injured and spat out blood. But what was even more shocking was his soul. He was about to go crazy. How could the other party send him flying? Could it be that the other party still had some shocking trump card? Or was there a hidden peerless expert on Immortal Palace's side? When he flew nearby, he was stunned. He realized that his guess was right. It was indeed not Lin Xian who did it, but it was not an expert from Immortal Palace either. It was Bat King. Bat King. The Imperial Family Grand Elder's body trembled, and a trace of fear appeared in his eyes. Not long ago they had been hunted down by the Bat King. They had spent a great deal of effort to kill him. Chapter 2550. Why would the Bat King appear here? Why didn't it attack the opponent? Why did it only attack him? This puzzled the royal family elder. No one could understand. For a moment, countless eyes looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian's voice was cold. Go and kill him. Whoosh. The Bat King's body flickered, turning into a red flash and rushing forward. What? This guy can control the Bat King. Seeing this scene, everyone went crazy, especially those from the Tai dynasty. They were so scared that their scalps went numb. Impossible. How did he do it? Isn't the Bat King the guardian of the ancient tomb? This is something that was personally refined by a saint. How can it control it? Exclamations and discussions sounded. Whether it was the Yi family, the Gu family, or the Demon Imperial Palace, they were all stunned. Damn it, die. The Tai dynasty's elder roared and slashed forward with a huge saber light. The Bat King did not dodge at all and faced the attack head-on. His body flickered with a blood-red light, and he did not suffer any impact. Brr. The Bat King did not waste any time and directly used the deprived divine power to forcefully seize it. Oh no! The elder's blood. The royal elder screamed. He felt the blood in his body churning and wanting to leave his body. This scene scared him out of his wits. Suppress. He roared crazily and his Dragon Dao aura surged, trying to suppress it. However, other than Lin Xian's Dragon Sword Soul, who could easily destroy it, no one else could do so. Even with the Dragon Dao aura, it was difficult to resist for a while. Streaks of blood stained his skin and rushed into the sky. No. The royal elder screamed. He detonated the Dragon Dao aura on his body and exploded in the sky, forming countless terrifying black holes. Only then did he cut off the mysterious connection. The royal elder's face turned pale. In just an instant, 1/3 of his blood had been taken away. This mystique was simply too terrifying. Damn it. How can this be? How can he control the rotary Bat King? The royal elder's face was ferocious. The others felt their scalps go numb and retreated. The Yin-Yang Saint, the twin kings of Jianghu, the crown prince, and the others' faces twitched. They were terrified. If the Bat King targeted them, it would be difficult for them to escape. But the only thing that made them feel at ease was Bat King. If there were a few more, they wouldn't be able to escape. The royal elder gritted his teeth and took out a large bronze bell from the void. Dragons were crawling all over it. This was one of his secret treasures called the Wandering Dragon Bell. It was extremely terrifying. At this moment he was going to use it to fight against the Bloodwing Bat King. No one made a move. He didn't ask anyone to help because Bat King was too scary. Die for me. After the imperial family elder swallowed the recovery pill, he once again erupted with power. He controlled the Wandering Dragon Bell and charged forward. There was a dragon bell that released 10,000 streaks of light, continuously becoming larger. It was like a great mountain as it rampaged through the sky, smashing through the void. It fiercely pressed forward. The Bat King roared. His body swayed and he disappeared in the air. When he reappeared, he was already next to the first prince. The first prince was so scared that his scalp went numb. He screamed again and again. "Elder, save me." As he screamed, he retreated. "Brother Yin-Yang, brother Gemini, save me." He looked to both sides for help. However, the Yin-Yang Saint, Jianghu's Gemini kings, and the others instantly left, ignoring him. What a joke. They didn't dare to fight against the Bloodwing Bat King. Damn it, a bunch of bastards. The first prince screamed crazily. He didn't expect that the team that had originally joined forces would scatter at this moment. No one helped him. This made him feel a sense of despair. The first prince. Behind him, the people of the Tai dynasty screamed crazily. The royal elder exclaimed in shock. Damn it. He controlled the Wandering Dragon Bell to change direction and fly down to rescue the first prince. However, it was too late. The Bat King opened its bloody mouth and swallowed the first prince in an instant. In the sky, the blood-red mouth made cracking noises. When it opened again, only a human skin was left. What? The first prince was killed. Everyone cried out in alarm. Their eyes were wide open and filled with fear. The Bat King was too terrifying. Everyone retreated crazily. Even Yi Wudao, No Flower, and the others retreated with their people. Damn it. Go to hell. The royal elder went crazy. The first prince had been killed. How was he going to explain it to the empress when he returned? He couldn't explain it at all. He could only kill the monster in front of him. Clang. The Bat King didn't dodge at all. Its body was comparable to a heaven-grade treasure, so it slapped out with its palm. With a bang, it collided with the Wandering Dragon Bell. The two collided with an earth-shattering sound. The Wandering Dragon Bell was sent flying. The royal elder also screamed and spat out blood as he retreated. Damn it. The royal elder roared like a madman. He turned around and charged at Lin Xian. Since he couldn't kill the Bat Kings, he had to kill this kid. He would use this kid's head to avenge the first prince. He launched a crazy attack. The terrifying energy could even kill a saint. However, Lin Xian didn't resist at all. The demigods and semi-devils flashed in the sky at extreme speed. Lin Xian's speed wasn't slower than the royal elder's. Therefore, the royal elder couldn't catch him at all. I'm so angry. Damn kid, don't run if you have the guts. The royal elder was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He didn't expect the other party to be so fast. Behind him, the people of the Tai dynasty had red eyes. They roared angrily, "Kill them!" Those martial artists charged out as if they had gone mad. However, in the next moment they screamed in pain. The Bat King roared and rushed into the midst of those martial artists, killing in all directions. It was too terrifying. No one could stop it. Blood mists burst open and human skins fell one after another. In an instant, more than 10 martial artists of the Tai dynasty were killed. Oh, that scene made the royal elder scream. Many of their elders were outside fighting against the Big Dipper coffin. Most of the people there were young disciples. He was secretly following them. Other than him, there were only 2 other elders in the group. However, he couldn't fight against it at all, so there weren't that many people. Thinking of that, he screamed and charged back again. He swore that he would kill that bat. Otherwise, the people of Tai dynasty would have been killed by the other party. Damn it. Everyone attacked together. The Yin-Yang Saint roared angrily. He pulled out a Yin-Yang blade and roared crazily. Sure enough, the others also responded. Among them, the people of the 5 Elements Palace, the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Land, and the 9 Firmaments Divine Emperor stood out without hesitation. The people of the Nangong family and the Tuoba family also had sinister smiles on their faces. The twin kings of Zhongzhou stared at Lin Xian like lightning. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Xing Tian, the dark red dragon, and Murong Qingqing also stepped out with cold expressions. Extremely terrifying auras surged from their bodies. Do you want to fight? Come, Grandpa Dragon will teach you how to behave. The dark red dragon roared, and countless immortal palaces flew over from the distance. In addition, the people of the Purple Dawn Sacred Land and the Jade Lake Sacred Land also flew over. They stared ahead angrily. Previously, when they cooperated with Lin Xian and the others, they were very happy and obtained many treasures. Chapter 2551. On the other side, Yi Wudao, Gu Santong and No Flower also walked up. Their eyes shone with a cold light. There were conflicts and alliances between the sacred grounds. At this moment they chose to side with Lin Xian. This scene made the twin kings and the others of Zhongzhou change their expressions. The Yin-Yang Saint also looked gloomy and gritted his teeth. Damn it, why are the clan of the ancients helping him? Damn it, this is too despicable. While they were in a stalemate on the other side, the royal elder was screaming in agony. This was because he was being mercilessly chased by the Bat King and was in a miserable state. Although he was a late-stage 8-star expert with a heaven-grade treasure, powerful armor, and royal superpowers, the Bat King was even more terrifying. It was a mutated species and was very powerful. Now that it had been refined by the ancient saint of the shifter race, its body was engraved with Tao patterns. It also had the superpowers of draining blood. These superpowers were impossible to defend against. The royal elder was at a disadvantage again. Moreover, his attacks could not hurt the Bat King at all. Even if he was hurt, the Tao patterns in his body could be restored. Last time, the Tai dynasty had gathered a lot of forces to kill the blood-robed Bat King. Now that he was alone, it was already a great fortune for him to be able to resist and not be killed. However, this could not go on. His aura was getting weaker and weaker. He wanted to escape and ask for help from his royal family companions. Seeing this, the Tai royal family members also looked terrible. Damn it, go and help him. This was an elder of their royal family. They would not allow any accidents to happen to him. Bus. The Tai dynasty martial artists could not wait any longer. Hearing CIG's order, they flew out like crazy. But soon they screamed in agony. They were no match for the Bat King at all. Screams rang out one after another as blood mist exploded. In front of the Bat King they could not fight back at all. Not to mention the royal elder who was helping them. Damn it, run. The royal elder's eyes were red. Other than him, no one else could fight back. Therefore, for a moment, the royal family martial artists did not dare to go forward. They retreated in horror. Damn it. The Yin-Yang Saint roared. Everyone, let's kill Bat King together. Otherwise we will all be in danger. Hearing this, the twin kings of the Central Plains and the people of the Tuoba family nodded in agreement. Indeed, as long as Bat King was not eliminated, it would be difficult to ensure their safety. If Lin Xian used the Bat King to deal with them, it would be difficult for them to resist. So now, although they were still safe and sound, they were still determined to get rid of this terrifying Bat King. Boom. In the next moment, these chosens all moved out and charged forward. If you want to fight, I'll play with you. Lin Xian let out a long roar, the dragon sword domain flew out, and countless sword lights flew in all directions. On the other side, Murong Qingqing, Shinjingqiu, Xing Tian, and Anhong attacked together. Terrifying light exploded in all directions as the dark red divine dragon opened its mouth and spat out array formations. It enveloped a part of the world. In addition, Gu Santong, Yi Wudao, No Flower, and the others also made their moves. Damn it. The Yin-Yang Saint and the others roared in anger. They were about to go crazy. Yi Wudao, No Flower, Shinjingqiu, and Murong Qingqing were all peerless geniuses with terrifying trump cards. They were not weaker than them at all. In an instant they were greatly obstructed. Damn brat, get out of my way. The Yin-Yang Saint roared in anger. He struck out with both hands and charged forward. However, all his attacks were split apart by Lin Xian's sword. Lin Xian sneered. What? You can't stand this little bit of attack? Your nightmare is yet to come. Lin Xian sneered, a piercing light in his eyes. He quickly charged forward and killed the Yin-Yang Saint with one strike. Although the Yin-Yang Saint was powerful, he was not Lin Xian's match. So he spat out a mouthful of blood, and a crack appeared on his armor. Ah! The Yin-Yang Saint roared in anger. He pulled out his Yin-Yang saber and swung it quickly. A huge black and white saber radiance swept across the sky, slashing towards Lin Xian's Dragon Abyss ancient sword. The two collided, making a clanging sound. Boom. Violent energy blasted in all directions, causing everyone to tremble. With a clang, the yin-yang saber radiance was shattered. However, the Dragon Rock ancient sword was also blocked in midair. Light appeared on the yin-yang saint's body, enveloping his body. Yin and yang aura roared and he swallowed all sorts of treasures. Finally, he suppressed his injuries. Damn brat. The yin-yang saint's face was cold. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. Because his opponent was too terrifying. He had injured him with one strike. How could this be? He could not believe it. He was very powerful and he was very confident in his yin and yang power. In his opinion, he could definitely kill his opponent with his yin-yang saber. But he did not expect it to be blocked. Brat, I won't let you go. The yin-yang saint sneered in front. He held the yin-yang saber in his hand, and the yin and yang qi on his body circulated rapidly. He was filled with murderous intent. He could not defeat his opponent previously because he did not use his trump card. Now that he had used his trump card, he did not believe that he could not kill his opponent. Yin-yang split. A huge saber radiance swept across the sky, and the yin and yang qi swirled, forming a terrifying force. At this moment, everyone trembled and their faces were filled with fear. They felt as if their bodies were being torn apart. There seemed to be a force of life and a force of death in their bodies. This scene was too terrifying. Many people vomited blood and were sent flying. The people from Immortal Palace were also affected. Brat, go to hell. The yin-yang saint sneered, and his yin-yang saber enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian's pupils constricted. He also felt that the two forces were trying to pull him into heaven and hell. Brat, be careful. The yin and yang power is very strange. The dark red divine dragon warned him, but he did not dare to get close. Lin Xian's expression was also solemn. The yin-yang sect was indeed a great sect that had been passed down since ancient times. The yin and yang power was indeed terrifying and could not be underestimated. However, although the yin and yang power was powerful, the yin-yang saint was not very powerful. He was indeed a peerless prodigy and a powerful saint, but that was only in the eyes of ordinary geniuses. In Lin Xian's eyes, the other party's strength was not enough. The yin and yang power. Sure enough, he was strong enough, reaching the acme of perfection, unmistakable even to gods and ghosts. But it's a pity that you're useless. You can't fully display the power of the yin and yang power. So you can't do anything to me. A cold voice came from the terrifying light, and everyone's expression changed. Chapter 2552. He was so angry that he almost vomited blood. The other party was looking down on him. He could not tolerate it. He was the saint. He was usually high and mighty. When had he ever been looked down on like this? 1 against 1, €7%. Damn it, I will definitely kill you. I'll let you know how much harm Miley gave I #8 you gave V under. The other party acknowledged the yin-yang sect's strength but did not acknowledge his strength? He was completely mad. The yin-yang power in his body exploded rapidly. The yin-yang blade became even more terrifying. The power of life and death tore the void apart, forming a heaven and a hell that floated in the sky. In heaven, City wanted to tell everyone. They were extremely white and had wings on their backs. Their bodies shone brightly, and they had the most serene smiles on their faces. Their eyes were pure. Behind them were countless palaces surrounded by all kinds of rare beasts. It was like a paradise on earth. This was the world's best pure land. The space below kept tumbling. It was pitch black and filled with the power of death. It formed 18 levels of hell. Every floor was surrounded by extremely terrifying evil spirits, and there were no vengeful spirits. One look at it would make one's scalp tingle and one's body tremble. It was impossible to resist. The yin-yang power completely enveloped Lin Xian, trying to tear him in half. Lin Xian felt the impact. He snorted and his flame blade burst into flames. Endless flames surrounded him, resisting this terrifying power. However, this power was too strange. Even though the Flame Taoist robe was a medium-grade heaven-class artifact, it could not completely block the yin-yang power. Kid, stop struggling. You can't resist the yin-yang power at all. The yin-yang saint stood in the sky and looked down. At this moment he was like the divine king who controlled time. His cold and emotionless eyes stared at Lin Xian. Can't resist? You think too highly of yourself. Lin Xian sneered. If it was the yin-yang sect leader, I might not be able to resist. But you You are not qualified. Today I will destroy your heaven and hell. Lin Xian roared. Sword light exploded from his body and slashed in all directions. Dream on. You're underestimating the power of yin and yang. Today you will definitely die. The yin-yang saint revealed a look of disdain. He did not think that Yi Fuqian could escape from his ultimate move. He had already used this god to kill many powerful kings. Among them were many elders and peerless geniuses. Although the other party was strong in the face of his sure kill ability, he still couldn't resist. Lin Xian didn't say anything. With a cold snort, the great dragon sword soul in his body erupted. The sharp sword light on his body grew brighter and brighter, as if it was going to break through the clouds. With a roar, a dragon-shaped sword shadow soared into the sky, transforming into a huge dragon bearing its fangs and brandishing its claws as it charged towards heaven in the sky. Brr. The cries of dragons and swords reverberated in all directions, tearing the void apart. Many of the weaker martial artists in the surroundings were smashed into pieces, causing them to lie flat on the ground. Even the other inceptive sages, experts, and elders who were engaged in battle also turned their heads to look at Zhang Xian in horror. Heavens! This brat's sword skill was really too terrifying. They were incomparably shocked, but at the same time they rejoiced. That was because they weren't the ones fighting the other party. With this thought, these peerless geniuses were all stunned. They had never had such fearful thoughts about anyone before. But now they actually felt fear towards a young man. Boom! Boom! Intense collisions sounded in front of them. The huge dragon shadow charged towards heaven. Its huge body crashed into those angels and immortal palaces, instantly erupting with a fierce light. The terrifying power blasted everything in all directions. The illusions of the angels and celestial palaces were quickly shattered. Damn it! Kill him for me! The yin-yang saint roared. Those shattered angels and immortal palaces reformed once again. They were the same, emitting a bright light like the sun. The dragon-shaped sword shadow wanted to completely destroy them. An intense battle erupted. The two forces clashed in the sky. The terrifying energy impact made everyone despair. But in the end, the sky full of palaces and countless angels turned into endless spirit chi with a boom. They dissipated in all directions, never to appear again. The yin-yang saint took a step back and spat out a mouthful of blood. His face instantly turned pale. Damn it! How could it be? Damn it, he actually broke my yang power. He was really too shocked. But what made him even more terrified was yet to come. That was because another sword will burst out from Lin Xian's body. This time it was a huge sword that reached the heavens with ancient patterns surrounding it. It emitted a terrifying sword intent. This sword seemed to fly out of time and space from ancient times. It directly slashed towards the 18 levels of hell below. The 18 levels of hell were extremely dark. It was the power of death. It was very evil. It could take away anyone's life. Now that it felt threatened, the 18 levels of hell shone brightly. Countless vengeful spirits and evil spirits rushed out. They rushed into the sky, emitting a cold aura that made everyone tremble. Countless vengeful spirits and evil spirits rushed into the sky, wanting to destroy the heavenly sword. But in an instant they screamed. It was as if their bodies were made of ice that had encountered a raging fire. They emitted sounds time and time again and even emitted white smoke. Destroy. Damn it. Go to hell. The yin-yang saint roared. 18 extremely strange demon faces appeared in the 18 levels of hell. They opened their bloody mouths and crazily devoured the power of the heavenly sword. Oh no. Retreat. Everyone around went crazy and screamed. They felt the life force in their bodies rapidly draining away. Many of them even began to age and their hair turned white. This made them extremely terrified. The saints stopped attacking and protected the disciples of their sacred grounds to prevent their lives from being taken by the power of death. Yi Wudao snorted coldly. His golden chi surged into the sky. He waved his golden fist and smashed it in all directions, directly shattering the power of death. Amitba. No flower formed a Buddhist seal. Countless rays of Buddhist light appeared on his body. They flickered in the sky and blocked the power of death. Shen Jingqiu and Murong Qingqing also used their ultimate techniques to block. The dark red dragon roared, and the dragon blood on its body surged. The Alcade Saint's body flickered with 108 god fiends. The great Xia Prince's sword slashed across the sky. Every expert was using their ultimate techniques to defend themselves, but no one was relaxed and no one was happy. Because they knew that this was just the aftermath of the power of death. Just the aftermath emitted such terrifying power and energy. They had to be careful. They had to admit that the Yin-Yang Saint's strength was too terrifying. It seemed that they had underestimated the Yin-Yang Saint. The Yin-Yang Saint revealed a ferocious expression. Damn brat, now you know my power of Yin and Yang. You have no chance to regret it. Go to hell for me. His expression was ferocious. The Yin-Yang sect martial artists behind him also exclaimed excitedly. That's great. As expected of a saint. He's really powerful. That's for sure. When has the power of Yin and Yang ever been defeated? No one can resist it. Chapter 2553. The disciples of the Yin-Yang sect were too excited. Lin Xian's strength had made them despair. Now that their holy son was able to suppress such a powerful enemy, this was definitely something that they were very excited about. The people of the Tai dynasty, 5 Elements Palace, 9 Heavens Sacred Ground, and 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground were also excited. Even if they couldn't kill Lin Xian, they would be thrilled to see him fall into the 18th level of hell with their own eyes. They knew that the 18th level of hell was extremely terrifying. Once they entered, they wouldn't be able to die just because they wanted to. They would be subjected to the cruelest punishment in the world. They would definitely experience what it meant to live a life worse than death. Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu were worried again. They couldn't help but want to help. Lin Xian also felt great danger. He felt that the life in his body was being taken away. His lifespan was being drained. This phenomenon was very similar to the Bat King's blood deprivation superpower. However, it was far more terrifying than the blood deprivation superpower. This was because the Bat King was taking away his lifespan. If he lost his blood, he could still regenerate it. However, if he lost his lifespan, he wouldn't be able to recover it. Therefore, he didn't dare to be careless. With a cold shout, the great dragon sword soul in his body exploded. The dragon-shaped sword shadow destroyed the surrounding death energy. Instantly, he felt that his life was no longer draining away. This made him heave a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the great dragon sword soul could also destroy the death energy. What's going on? What happened? The Yin-Yang Saint was stunned. As the one who attacked, he was the most shocked. Previously, he saw Lin Xian's face turn pale and his lips curl into a hideous smile. He knew that Lin Xian couldn't resist his death energy. However, in just an instant, Lin Xian stopped. His face was no longer pale. It seemed that his life wasn't draining away. But how was this possible? Could it be that the death energy had lost its effect? What a joke. His death energy could definitely take away everything. It was even more terrifying than the Bat King's superpower. Didn't he see that the saints and saintesses were all hiding far away? He had to be careful. One could imagine how terrifying it was to be enveloped by the death energy. Damn it, what's going on? Could it be that this brat used some kind of secret technique? The Yin-Yang Saint's face darkened. He knew that it was unrealistic to kill the other party like this. After all, as Immortal Palace's lord, the other party definitely had many trump cards. But so what? He did not believe his opponent's land card could resist his force of death. Thinking of this, a ferocious look appeared in his eyes. He once again unleashed a powerful force and poured it into the 18 levels of hell. He even took out 2 secret pills from his storage ring and swallowed them, causing the spiritual energy in his body to erupt like a vast ocean. Roar, roar, roar. As expected, after swallowing the Buddha's secret pill, the 18 levels of hell became even more eerie and sinister. The 18 faces of the devils were extremely ferocious as the power of death exploded out. Lin Xian was once again in danger. Absorbing energy? I'll let you absorb as much as you want. Lin Xian snorted coldly. A dragon-shaped sword shadow rushed out from his body and rushed downwards. It's useless. Stop struggling. Nothing can resist the power of death. The Yin-Yang Saint sneered disdainfully. Lin Xian did not answer him. This time he did not slash the power of death at all. Instead, he continued to unleash it. The great dragon sword soul exploded, and waves of terrifying energy swept across the land. It was like a vast ocean crashing down in all directions. The surrounding space collapsed rapidly, and black holes appeared one after another. No one could see what was happening inside. The 18 faces of the devils in the 18 levels of hell revealed greedy expressions. They had never encountered such a powerful force of life before. Such powerful force. They devoured crazily like beggars who had been hungry for a long time and had once again found delicious food. Indeed, to them, the great dragon sword soul was delicious food that could make up for their greed. But after absorbing for a while, the 18 ghost faces widened their eyes in shock. Damn it, stop. Enough. They were full. They could not take it anymore. Although their yin energy could devour everything, there was a limit to it. After all, they were summoned by the yin-yang saint, not the yin-yang sect leader. No matter how strong the yin-yang saint was, he was only a prodigy of the younger generation. Therefore, the power they could devour was also very limited. But now they had devoured enough life force and power. However, the life force and power above them continued to surge. They could not devour it at all. But as the element of the power of death, they could not stop it. Moreover, the yin-yang saint had also gone crazy and was using it recklessly. Therefore, the 18 faces expanded more and more. The entire 18 levels of hell also swelled up as if they had become balloons. Whoosh 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 boom. Finally, when it reached its limit, there was an earth-shattering boom. The 18 layers of hell exploded and shattered into pieces. The evil demon's face inside was instantly turned into ashes. Boom boom boom. This force was too terrifying. After all, the 18 levels of hell formed by the power of death were already extremely powerful. Moreover, they had also absorbed the endless power of the great dragon sword soul. Therefore, this explosion was extremely terrifying. A huge crack appeared in the sky and spread in all directions. Heaven and earth shook. Everyone was pushed back. The weaker ones spat out mouthfuls of blood and fainted. The stronger ones also activated their king's domains to defend themselves. The entire palace shook. Heaven and earth shook as if it was about to be destroyed. Damn it, what happened? Could it be that the brat fought back? Impossible. That brat could not destroy the 18 levels of hell at all. Could it be that he had been devoured and refined? Screams rang out. However, the yin-yang saint spat out blood and flew back. This time he suffered a very serious backlash. 3 cracks appeared on his body and almost split his body into pieces. His face had become incomparably pale, without a trace of blood, and even his eyes had dimmed. He had no choice. His ultimate technique had been destroyed. Naturally, he was severely injured. Seeing this, the yin-yang sect members screamed. They flew out crazily and caught the yin-yang saint. They consumed all kinds of heavenly treasures without any regard for their lives. What happened? What happened? Why was the saint injured? Oh my God, could it be that the brat fought back? Damn it, could it be that the brat used the power of a saint? Impossible. Screams and cries rang out one after another. They really couldn't understand what was going on. The Tai dynasty, the middle ground twin kings, the 5 elements palace and the 10,000 thunder sacred ground were all stunned. They were also very surprised. Their faces instantly became extremely ferocious. They approached the yin-yang saint and quickly asked, "Brother Yin-yang, what happened? Could it be that you failed? That brat is already so powerful?" Screams rang out. Chapter 2554. Impossible. I don't believe it. How could he have broken through my ultimate divine power? The yin-yang saint went crazy. He saw heaven being destroyed with his own eyes. But why was hell also destroyed? How did he do it? He didn't know because the black hole had completely isolated everything. He didn't see it at all, nor did his soul capture it. He wasn't the only one. The others were the same. Is your ultimate divine power that powerful? You want to kill me? You're overestimating yourself. A cold voice was heard. It was like a sharp sword that cut through the void. The sky full of light was mercilessly torn apart, and then a figure walked out. He was surrounded by sword halos and a dragon shadow appeared under his feet. It was like a peerless immortal light that made people tremble. Damn it, it's that kid. He's not injured at all. How is that possible? Everyone went crazy because they realized that the aura on their bodies didn't weaken. Instead, it became even more violent than before. They didn't know that after the 18 levels of hell exploded, the power of the divine power was released. The absorbed power of the great dragon sword soul was completely released. Not only that, after being refined in the 18 levels of hell, the power became purer than before. Therefore, the power of the great dragon sword soul increased. This made Lin Xian very happy. He didn't expect that a battle could increase the power of the great dragon sword soul. This was really an unexpected surprise. So when he came out, he looked at the yin-yang saint and smiled. To be honest, I really have to thank you. If it weren't for you, my strength wouldn't have increased again. So don't worry, I'll give you a quick death later. Hearing this, the yin-yang sect martial artists trembled. Their faces were full of fear. The yin-yang saint was so angry that he spat out another mouthful of blood. Damn kid, I'm going to kill you. I'll definitely kill you. He was really angry. The next moment, he waved his hand and an ancient drum appeared in his hand. The drum was white on one side and black on the other. It was very strange. This was a secret treasure of his called the yin-yang drum. Once the drum sounded, it could instantly kill a strong enemy. Could go to hell. The yin-yang saint roared. He waved his hand and was about to use the yin-yang drum. However, he didn't have the chance. A piercingly cold sword light flew out and instantly chopped off his arm. The yin-yang saint had just grabbed the yin-yang drum when his arm broke. Blood splattered everywhere, dyeing the yin-yang drum and the void red. The yin-yang saint screamed and flew backward. He covered his wound and kept rolling in the air. The others sucked in a breath of cold air as their scalps went numb. Crack. Yin and yang qi flowed around the yin-yang saint's body. Instantly his severed arm grew back. He kept gasping for breath, and his face was filled with malevolence. He wanted to attack again. However, he discovered that the yin-yang valley was enveloped by countless sword lights. For a moment, it was hard for him to break free. As for him, he was once again sent flying by a sword light. The yin-yang saint still wanted to use his trump card, but Lin Xian did not give him the chance. Sword after sword, he swung out in succession. For a time, countless sword lights crisscrossed, forming a sea of swords that enveloped the area. The yin-yang saint was forced to retreat continuously. He had no chance to attack again. The armor on his body shattered, and the yin and yang energies grew dim. His body split apart and an arm was hacked off. Not only that, but the sword strike that followed was even more devastating, directly splitting him into two halves. Half of his body was completely shattered by the sword light. Bust. The other half of the yin-yang saint's body rushed out. Countless rays of light formed a yin-yang shield that enveloped him and brought him back. Stay here. 5-element sword. 5 elements as one. Lin Xian swung his ancient sword, and the 5-element sword danced in the sky. They quickly combined to form an even sharper divine sword shadow that directly shattered the yin-yang escape. It even cut the yin-yang saint's remaining half of his body into two. Boom. Blood mist exploded. It was a tragic sight. A saint. The yin-yang sect members screamed. They looked at this scene with despair. Could it be that their holy son had also been killed? The others were also extremely shocked. Those peerless prodigies and powerful cultivators were extremely terrified. Could it be that another saint had died? Boom. Whoosh. Just as everyone was shocked, a figure appeared in the void in the distance. It was the yin-yang saint. At this moment, his face was as pale as paper, without a trace of blood. He looked extremely weak. Boom. With an earth-shattering sound, the yin-yang drum shattered the sword light that filled the sky. It arrived around the yin-yang saint and completely enveloped him. He was not killed. The surrounding people exclaimed. However, the yin-yang sect martial artists cried out crazily. They were too excited. Their holy son had not been killed, which made them completely relieved. Lin Xian frowned. That was because he was very surprised by this scene. The other party was actually able to survive after such a fierce attack. It was really surprising. Yin-yang talisman of life and death. Yu Wudao said solemnly. Hearing this, many martial artists were puzzled. However, the eyelids of the powerful saints twitched violently. Yin-yang talisman of life and death. Damn it, it's actually that thing. They did not expect the yin-yang sect to be so cautious this time. Yes, the yin-yang saint was really lucky. He actually obtained the yin-yang talisman of life and death. It seemed that his life was saved this time. What was the yin-yang talisman of life and death? Lin Xian frowned. It seemed to be a very terrifying thing. Otherwise, Yi Wudao and the other saints would not be so shocked. Behind him, Xing Tian quickly transmitted his voice. Young master, the yin-yang life and death talisman is a very terrifying talisman. It could have been refined by a supreme king or even a saint. It is an exceptional mystique of the yin-yang sect. It was not an offensive mystique, but a life-saving one. After being refined, it would be placed in the yin-yang saint's body. At a critical moment, it would come out and replace the original body. This was equivalent to having an extra chance of survival. Previously, the yin-yang saint had been able to escape the sword light that filled the sky. He must have activated the yin-yang life and death talisman. There was such a magical thing. After hearing this, Lin Xian was very envious. To be able to replace one death. This was an extremely precious item. After all, using this item was equivalent to having a second life. One more life than others. He had to admit that the yin-yang saint was really lucky to have such an item on him. Damn brat, I will not let you off. The yin-yang saint trembled with anger. He did not expect the other party to make him use the yin-yang life and death talisman. This was indeed planted in his body by the yin-yang sect leader. It was equivalent to having a second life. However, he could not use it on his own. It could only take effect automatically when he was threatened with death. That was why he was still alive. However, this item was extremely rare. It was a treasure of heaven and earth. He did not want to waste it like this. He had originally thought that he would use the Yin-Yang life and death talisman to save his life when he encountered extreme danger in the ancient tomb. But now he had used it in advance. Moreover, he had fallen at the hands of a young martial artist like him. The Yin-Yang life and death talisman was indeed a good item. Do you have any more on you? Chapter 2555. Being stared at, the Yin-Yang saint shuddered and almost wet himself. He did not expect Lin Fan to attack him. The members of the Yin-Yang sect also surrounded the Yin-Yang saint tightly. They were extremely nervous, as if they were facing a formidable enemy. If not for the Yin-Yang life and death talisman, their saint would have been killed. And now Lin Xian still wanted to attack. How could they not be nervous? The Yin-Yang saint's face darkened. He gritted his teeth and said, "Brat, just you wait. I will not let you off." As soon as he finished speaking, he led the Yin-Yang sect members away without looking back. He even used a secret technique to transform into Yin-Yang Qi, shattering the void and disappearing. The 5 Elements Palace, 9 Heavens Sacred Ground, 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground, Tai Dynasty, and Tuoba family were all stunned. The others were also stunned. Their scalps went numb. The Yin-Yang saint had actually escaped. The Yin-Yang sect had been defeated. No one could believe it. The Yin-Yang sect was a powerful sect in middle ground. They were extremely powerful. Together with their Yin-Yang Qi, they were extremely terrifying. The Yin-Yang saint was one of the top talents of the younger generation. But this terrifying young talent had fled. He fled like a stray dog. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have believed it. What a piece of trash. So weak. How could he escape so quickly? Lin Xian did not chase after them. He looked at the shattered void in disdain. The other party was no longer a threat to him, so he ignored them. Instead, he turned around and stared at the remaining people. "How dare you join forces to assassinate me?" Li Yundong thought. "Kneel down and accept your death." Lin Xian shouted coldly. His voice was like thunder, exploding in the sky. The Tai Dynasty, 5 Elements Palace, and 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground cultivators who had gone against Lin Xian trembled and almost fell from the sky. Their prodigy elders, on the other hand, looked gloomy. "Brat, you are too arrogant." Just then a hideous voice rang out. "Don't think that you can show off in front of me just because you defeated the Yin-Yang saint. To be honest, you're still far from it. Now, hand over the ancient Taoist robe obediently, and give me all the resources you've collected. I can only cripple your cultivation and spare your life. Otherwise, if you dare to resist, I'll make sure you lose your life." As soon as these words were spoken, everyone was shocked and their scalps went numb. Heavens, who is it? How dare he be so arrogant? Didn't he see that even the Yin-Yang saint had been struck by the other party? He had almost lost his life here. Now, there was actually someone who dared to provoke Lin Xian. It had to be said that he was truly audacious. However, when they looked up at the figure in the sky, they cried out in surprise. The twin kings of the central state. What? It's him. Was he going to make a move? Everyone was extremely shocked. The central state's twin kings were extremely terrifying existences. He was probably even more powerful than the Yin-Yang saint. Moreover, it was a two-headed monster. Although it did not possess the power of yin and yang, it possessed the power of light and darkness. When the two completely opposite forces merged together, it would definitely be an extremely terrifying killing move. That's great. If the twin kings of the central state were to make a move, that kid would definitely die. That might not be the case. Don't forget that they had fought before. But that time, the twin kings of the central state had failed. In fact, they were so close to killing each other. Therefore, I think that kid is more powerful. Impossible. Although that kid is powerful, it's impossible for him to kill the twin kings of the central state. Last time, he had relied on his soul power to launch a surprise attack and cause the twin kings to suffer. Now, with the previous experience, the twin kings of the central state would definitely defend their soul power. Without the soul power, that kid would definitely not be a match for the twin kings of the central state. Indeed, I think so too. Discussions broke out. In this battle, they were certain that the twin kings of the central state would win. This was because the other party's reputation in the central state was simply too strong. Even people like Yi Wudao and the prince of the Great Xia dynasty did not think that they could win. Not to mention Lin Xian. On the other side, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes as a disdainful smile appeared on his face. I was wondering who it was. So it's you, the two-headed monster. What was the lesson I taught you last time not enough? You still dare to cause trouble? Do you really think I don't dare to kill you? If you know what's good for you, scram and disappear from my sight. Otherwise, I'll kill you. At the end of his words, a biting cold killing intent rang out between heaven and earth. It was like a peerless sword light that swept across the world. How terrifying. This Lin Xian was too arrogant. He dared to provoke the twin kings of the central state. Just wait, he will lose without a doubt. Discussions broke out. However, the dark red dragon and the others sneered. Two-headed monster, go to hell. You are not a match for Brother Lin Xian. Brother Xian, defeat him. You can go to hell for me. The twin kings of the central state went crazy. Their strength suddenly erupted. Last time, he had indeed suffered a loss at the hands of the other party. Therefore this time he must return the favor. He wanted to kill the other party in front of everyone to prove his strength. Boom. On behalf of the gods, I punish you. The virtuous one's face was merciful. Golden light overflowed from his body, making him look like a Buddha. On the other side, the evil one's black hair danced wildly. Demonic chi surged from his body, making him look like a peerless demon king. Two terrifying auras burst out, sweeping across the world and shattering the surrounding void. The spectators frantically retreated, distancing themselves. It was too terrifying. It was much more powerful than the Yin-Yang Saint's power. It was undeniable that it made people tremble. At this moment, Yi Wudao, No Flower, the Alcade Saint, and the others all had grave expressions. Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu were also worried. Although they had mocked Lin Xian before, they were still worried for him after sensing the power. Brother Lin Xian, are you alright? Xinjingqiu looked worried. However, the dark red dragon laughed. Don't worry, that kid won't lose so easily. As expected, Lin Xian roared. Sword chi erupted from his body. Sword waves spread out in all directions with him as the center. It collided with the golden light that filled the sky and the terrifying demonic chi. The three forces collided in the air, tearing the void apart. Hundreds of large cracks appeared. Each of them was like a huge canyon spreading across the sky. It was extremely ferocious. The surrounding martial artists were horrified. Just the collision of their auras had already caused such a terrifying scene. They wondered what would happen when the two of them fought. It would probably be an earth-shattering battle. Fortunately, this was the tomb of a saint. Even if they fought until the heavens fell and the earth cracked, it was still fine. Even if it was earth-shattering, the saint's tomb would not shatter. Hence, they just had to keep a safe distance. But after the three forces collided, Lin Xian made his move. Since the other party was courting death, he would fulfill his wish. The chaotic heaven destroyer sword erupted with a terrifying sword light that swept across the world. The Zhongzhou twin kings also roared. The virtuous one wielded the heavenly Dharma wheel, while the evil one wielded the death scythe. The two of them charged out together. Not only that, but a huge square seal formed above their heads, radiating thousands of rays of light. Chapter 2556. Brat, we've already protected our souls with our previous experience. You won't be able to break our soul protection. Let's see what you can do without your soul attack. The Zhongzhou twin kings laughed sinisterly as they quickly rushed over. Sure enough, when the surrounding people saw this scene, they cried out in alarm. Haha, without the soul attack, this brat's strength would be greatly reduced. He wouldn't be a match for the Zhongzhou twin kings. This was for sure. Just wait and see. This time he's definitely dead. The surrounding people sneered. Lin Xian coldly snorted. The other party was too naive. Did they really think that his strength would be greatly reduced without his soul power? What a joke. His soul power was only his trump card. His true strength wasn't something these people could imagine. In the next moment he waved his ancient sword. 3 runes unraveled and a shocking sword light flashed out. Boom. Today's collision sounded. The sky fell and the earth cracked. The terrifying power shattered everything in all directions. It even blasted the Zhongzhou twin kings away. What? The Zhongzhou twin kings were blasted away. How was this possible? Everyone was stunned. This was completely different from what they had expected. In their opinion, without his soul power, Lin Xian wouldn't be a match for the twin kings at all. But now the other party was still incomparably strong. He directly blasted the Zhongzhou twin kings away. The twin kings of Central State were also stunned. Their minds went blank. They retreated for a long time before they stopped. Damn it, how could this brat be so strong? Brother, don't be careless. This brat must have obtained some opportunity in this ancient tomb that allowed his cultivation to increase. That's why he could erupt with such power, right? The virtuous one said in a deep voice. The evil child was able to move the demonic energy that filled the sky. He snorted coldly. Damn it, this brat's luck was really good. He actually broke through. But so what? Did he really think that we didn't have any opportunities? Today we'll let him see how powerful we are. The Jianghu twin kings smiled. They didn't attack again. Instead they stopped in mid-air. Soon light flickered on their bodies. They took out something from their storage rings. It was an array disc with words carved on a stone. It was abnormally old and covered with cracks. 1/3 of the edges had even disappeared. Obviously this was not a complete thing. However, the Central Province's twin kings were extremely cautious and excited as they held the treasure in their hands. From the looks of it, the value of this stone plate was beyond their imagination. Brat, I'll show you our fortuitous encounter. The two of them grinned and waved their palms, pouring their power into the stone plate. Suddenly, the stone plate trembled and the patterns on it lit up quickly. It was very mysterious. One rune after another floated out and rotated above them. An earth-shattering voice rang out as a tall figure walked out from the runes that filled the sky. It was a stone golem. It was 2 meters tall and its body was filled with the texture of rocks. However, it was full of cracks and 1/3 of it had even disappeared. Clearly, the degree of damage was the same as that of the stone plate. This stone man was summoned by the stone plate. What? Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. What was that? It sounded like the Jianghu twin kings had obtained a treasure from the saint's tomb. But what was the use of this stone man? Or were they puppets? There was a lot of discussion, but soon they found out. The stone man should be a kind of attacking puppet. In the sky, the tall stone man's body swayed and directly smashed through the void, instantly arriving in front of Lin Xian. Boom. The large stone hand slapped out, forming terrifying black holes one after another, completely enveloping Lin Xian. Lin Xian's body swayed and he instantly dodged. At the same time he slashed the stone man with his sword. Clang. An earth-shattering sound rang out and sparks flew. However, the stone man was not damaged at all. He only took a few steps back, roared again and charged forward. What a strong defense! Everyone exclaimed. They had seen how terrifying Lin Xian's sword technique was. He had directly split the yin-yang saint in half with one slash. Even a top-notch saint would have a headache if he saw such sword chi. However, the stone man in front of them. He actually took a hit from the sword without being injured at all. This was really beyond everyone's expectations. Treasure, this was definitely an earth-shattering treasure. This defensive power was even more terrifying than a heaven-grade treasure. No wonder the middle ground twin kings were so excited earlier. They had definitely struck gold. Their luck was too good to be able to find such a treasure in the saint's tomb. Exclamations rang out. Obviously, the stone man's defense was indeed beyond their expectations. Lin Xian also frowned, and his face became gloomy. What a terrifying defensive power. He knew his own sword technique best. Even a peerless almighty would not dare to take a hit from his sword. However, the stone man withstood it. No wonder the middle ground twin kings were so confident. Kid, did you see that? In front of our fortuitous opportunity. Your fortuitous opportunity is nothing at all. In terms of talent, you are no match for us. In terms of fortuitous opportunity, you are no match for us. Therefore you can die in peace. Is that so? Lin Xian sneered. However, you are too confident. The fortuitous opportunity you are so proud of is nothing at all in front of me. Stubborn fellow, who do you think you are? The stone man's defense is far beyond your imagination. You can't break it at all. The twin kings snorted coldly. Their eyes were filled with disdain because they had tested it before. Even they could not break it. They could only kill it if they used their super trump cards. Therefore they did not believe that the other party could break it so easily. Lin Xian did not say anything. Instead he stretched out his hand and grabbed a few black bugs. Go, it's time to show your strength. Lin Xian grabbed 5 bugs and threw them out. These bugs danced in the sky and rushed toward the stone man. In an instant they landed on the honest man. What were those things? The surrounding people were stunned at first. How many bugs did the other party take out? What kind of joke was that? Was the other party an idiot? How could a few bugs kill such a terrifying stone man? They did not believe it at all. The middle ground twin kings also sneered disdainfully. Kid, it seems that you are really at the end of your rope. In that case, let me finish you off. They controlled the stone plate again and made the stone man attack crazily. However, very soon the stone men stopped in midair. It was because a small stone had fallen from their bodies. Although it was very small, it still attracted everyone's attention. Especially the middle ground twin kings, their pupils constricted. Damn it, what was going on? Something actually fell down? The evil son was shocked. The virtuous son said, "Brother, don't worry, it must be something else." How could the stone man be damaged? That was true. The evil son recovered his expression and snorted coldly again. However, not long after, a few more small stones fell. Moreover, the stone man in front of him slowed down. In fact, a crack appeared on his body. A crack that should not have appeared. Damn it, the stone man was injured. This time it wasn't just the twin kings. The other chosen powerhouses had also witnessed this scene. They were stunned. What was going on? Such a powerful stone man and peerless sword chi could not break it. At this moment it was actually damaged? Damn it, it had something to do with that bug. Chapter 2557. Damn it, aren't those black bugs similar to the metal-devouring bugs? Some powerhouses exclaimed. What? Are you talking about the bugs that were created with the dark night gold in the cave? The others also came back to their senses. They looked carefully and exclaimed in surprise. Damn it, it's really them. They thought that they looked familiar, but they did not think that way. That was because they had suppressed some of those bugs in their sacred grounds. However, they did not dare to use them. Those bugs contained the will of the saints, which was extremely terrifying. They did not dare to use them now. They could only use them after the elders of their sacred grounds refined them. But now the other party had taken out a few black bugs. Was he not afraid that the will of the saints would leak and cause some unforeseen events? No, damn it, the stone golem had blasted those bugs away many times. Those bugs all flew back to attack the stone golem. That shouldn't be. Those bugs attacked indiscriminately. Why are they only attacking the stone golem this time? Just as they were feeling puzzled, the stone golem in front of them shattered again, and a few holes appeared on its body. There was also a hole in between his eyebrows, so he stopped in midair. What happened? Why isn't it moving? Everyone was surprised again. Lin Xian, on the other hand, smiled. It seemed that he had indeed destroyed the stone golem. Not only did he have the black bugs, but he also had the heavenly secret divine eye. He discovered that there was a rune in the stone golem's head. Therefore he asked the black bugs to bite the rune. As expected, the stone golem in front of them. It stopped moving. Damn it. Move. The middle creased twin kings roared like they had gone mad. However, no matter how they tried to control it, the stone golem seemed to have fallen into a deep sleep and stopped moving. It had truly turned into a statue. Come back. Lin Xian waved his hand, and all the black bugs returned to his side as he put them away. Seeing that scene, everyone went crazy. Damn it, what did that kid do? He actually took back the black bugs so easily? Oh my god, why do I feel that he can control those black bugs? One of the saints screamed. When the others heard that, they were even more terrified. Don't talk nonsense, how could he possibly control it? That was because the black worm contained the will of a saint, and he could not erase it. I say, stop scaring people. Voices rang out one after another. Clearly no one dared to believe this fact. Lin Xian didn't explain. What he wanted was a sense of mystery. Only then would these saints and experts fear him. Sure enough, at this moment the way everyone looked at Lin Xian changed. Damn it, this brat is too freaky. First, there was the terrifying soul power, and then there was the peerless sword art. Now there was the black bug. In fact, he could even control it. Who the hell was this kid? Why do I feel that the twin kings of the central prefecture are in danger this time? Don't speak nonsense. Although the stone man was damaged, the central state twin kings were not injured. With the twin king's strength, defeating this brat was not a difficult task. However, there were also people who shook their heads. Haven't you noticed? Ever since this kid appeared, he hasn't lost a single battle. Whether it was the Five Elements Saint, the Myriad Thunder Saint, the Yin-Yang Saint, or the Twin Kings this time. Every opponent became stronger and stronger, but the other party also became stronger and even had more trump cards. The other party was like a bottomless pit, able to defeat all the experts and stay in an invincible position. Was this true? Everyone was horrified. They thought carefully and found that it was true. Since they knew him, he had never been defeated. God, this was the potential of a great emperor. An old man exclaimed, and the others turned their heads to look. It was rumored that when the great emperor was young, he had defeated all his peers and had never been defeated. It was common for him to kill enemies of a higher level. Only by defeating all the experts in the world could he become a great emperor. The brat in front of them seemed to be on the path of an ancient great emperor. The saint of all beginnings' eyes flickered as she spoke in a deep voice. Ancient great emperor. These 4 words were like a mountain, pressuring people to the point that they couldn't breathe. All the saints and saintesses were silent. They stared at Lin Xian and a piercing light flashed in their eyes. Each of them looked as if they were facing a formidable enemy. Because as top geniuses and peerless geniuses, their goals were not only to become the saint lords of their respective holy lands. They also had a more ambitious goal, which was to become a great emperor. Because only by becoming a great emperor could one rule the world and be qualified to enter the legendary immortal realm. Only then could one be qualified to become an immortal. They had been working tirelessly for this goal. However, at that moment there was someone walking ahead of them. The other party had already shown the potential and demeanor of a young great emperor, which made them extremely vigilant. On the road to becoming a great emperor, everyone was an enemy. The twin kings of Jianghu also understood this truth. Therefore they did not hold back at all. They exerted all their strength and attacked. This was an extremely exciting battle. The two fought until the sky fell and the earth cracked, and the sun and moon lost their light. Countless rays of light shone in the sky and cracks were everywhere. The monstrous sea of blood surged and dyed the entire sky red. The ancient dragon abyss sword crossed the sky, and every time it slashed down, it was accompanied by a shocking dragon roar. On the opposite side, the heavenly treasure Dharma wheel and the death scythe were also becoming more and more terrifying. They evolved magical powers all over the sky to compete with the piercing sword chi in the sky. Buzz! The shockwave of the shocking attack spread out in all directions. Suddenly the sky fell and the earth cracked. Many experts did not have time to retreat and were directly sent flying by the shockwave. The other saints and experts' faces changed. It was too terrifying. Just the shockwave alone was so powerful and it made them extremely shocked. The others also retreated crazily and no longer dared to go forward. Lin Xian also frowned. He had to admit that the twin kings of Jianghu were indeed terrifying. They were indeed powerful to be able to dominate Jianghu for so many years. If he did not have the great dragon sword soul to display his super powerful combat strength, it would be difficult for him to fight until now. After all, it was equivalent to him fighting against two saints with his own strength. Boom. 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 In the sky there was another collision of ultimate skills. The power of light and darkness rushed toward Lin Xian together. Lin Xian used his 4 major killer moves to contend with them. The twin kings of Jianghu vomited blood and retreated. Lin Xian also kept retreating. His robe was dyed red with blood. The collision of magical powers caused both of them to be injured. Buzz! In the sky, Lin Xian stopped and activated the longevity incantation. The power in his body surged and the light on his body flowed quickly, forming a dragon-shaped shadow that enveloped him. The giant dragon roared and sucked hard. The spiritual chi of heaven and earth in all directions was sucked into his body and poured into Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian activated the longevity incantation and used the power to repair his body. On the other side, the twin kings of Jianghu were also roaring. The golden light on their bodies and the monstrous demonic chi kept rolling and repairing their wounds. Kid, I have to admit that you are strong and are our opponent. No one has been able to fight with us for so long. You are the first. However, this is the end. Next, I will let you know what true despair is. Chapter 2558. Boom. Jianghu's twin kings roared, and a bronze chariot rushed out from between his eyebrows. Lights swirled on the chariot, and sinister heads were engraved on it. It was very mysterious. The bronze chariot emitted an unparalleled power, shattering the void and causing the surrounding people to tremble. Heaven-grade treasure. Many people exclaimed. The saints' pupils shrank because they could feel that this was not an ordinary heaven-grade treasure. It might be a mid-grade heaven-grade treasure. At this level it was definitely a powerful weapon. It could wipe out an area. If it was controlled by a top almighty, it would be extremely terrifying. Everyone was shocked. They did not expect Jianghu's twin kings to have a mid-grade heaven-grade treasure. Lin Xian also frowned. He knew the power of a mid-grade heaven-grade treasure. The ancient Taoist robe on his body was a mid-grade heaven-grade treasure. He did not expect the other party to have one as well. But so what? Even if the other party had a mid-grade heaven-grade treasure, he was not afraid. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand bloomed with a brilliant light. It was an ancient treasure and a heaven-grade treasure. Its grade was unknown. But it obviously surpassed a mid-grade heaven-grade treasure. The dark red dragon used 9 seals to seal it. At this moment, Lin Xian had already broken 3 seals. But now he had broken another one. The 4th seal was opened. Boom, boom, boom. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Sword chi swept across the world, shattering the void. The surrounding warriors' faces all changed. Damn it, the long sword in the kid's hand is also a treasure. Looking at its power, it was no weaker than a mid-grade heaven-grade treasure. The battle between 2 mid-grade heaven-grade treasures was absolutely terrifying and could destroy the world. If it were not for the Saint's Tomb, this attack would have completely collapsed everything within a radius of 1,000,000 miles. However, the Saint's Tomb had completely suppressed this power. The internal space was blasted into smithereens. That was not all. Outside the Saint's Tomb, countless large cracks had appeared within a radius of 1,000,000 miles and were spreading in all directions. The plains and earth had turned into huge canyons one after another. Damn it! Retreat. In the ancient tomb, the holy sons, holy daughters, and other experts retreated one after another. Leaf Daodenier, Sage Sun Alcade, and the Crown Prince of the Grand Xia all unleashed their power. In the sky, the bronze chariot continued to expand until it was about 10 meters tall. There were ferocious heads on them. If one looked carefully, they were all ferocious beasts of the world. Among them there were 4 heads that were the most terrifying. They were scattered around the bronze chariot. This bronze chariot was also known as the 4-beast chariot. The twin kings of the Central Plains stood on the 4-beast chariot, holding the heavenly treasure Dharma wheel and the death scythe. Their eyes shone with cold light. His powerful aura suppressed the surroundings. Kid, I admit that you're very powerful, but in front of our trump cards, you don't have any power to resist at all. If you obediently kneel down and accept your death, I can give you a quick death. The Central State twin kings looked down like immortal kings, making people look up to them. You want me to admit defeat with a mere mid-grade heaven step artifact? You're really too naive. If you have any tricks up your sleeves, just use them. Lin Xian snorted disdainfully. You'll see. Since you don't know what's good for you, I'll fulfill your wish. The twin kings of the Central State waved their palms. Tens of thousands of rays of light bloomed. The 4 ferocious heads seemed to come alive and roared. Countless rays of light spewed out from the 4 heads. Each ray of light could kill a peerless powerhouse. Could be said that it was extremely dangerous. Kill. Lin Xian held the ancient dragon abyss sword and attacked together with the great dragon sword soul. The 2 of them fought together again. The heavenly treasure Dharma wheel, the death scythe, endless demonic chi and golden light shone in the sky. At the same time, Lin Xian used the power of 5 elements in the chaos sword technique. There were dragon roars and sword cries. All kinds of unique skills emerged one after another. Both of them used powerful attacks and trump cards. Lin Xian's eyes shone with cold light. The great dragon sword soul in his body continued to rise. Dragon roars and sword cries rang out. This time he wanted to completely kill the twin kings of the Central State. He did not want to let them escape. He knew that this was a peerless enemy. Not only was he strong and talented, but he also had great opportunities. If he let them continue to grow, it would be troublesome for him in the future. It was better to take advantage of this opportunity to kill them completely. The twin kings of the Central State had the same plan. They drove the 4-beast chariot and attacked crazily. Lin Xian waved the ancient dragon sword and turned it into a giant dragon-shaped sword that was 100 feet long. It pressed down mercilessly. Sword after sword collided fiercely with the 4-beast chariot. Boom, boom. After dozens of sword strikes, the 4-beast chariot kept retreating. The twin kings of the Central State also vomited blood. Their bodies were dyed red. Even if they were strong and had the 4-beast chariot, they still could not resist. No way that kid was so strong? Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw this scene. Originally, they thought that the twin kings of the Central State would win. But they did not expect that the 2 sides were locked in a fierce battle. When the twin kings took out their mid-grade heaven-grade artifacts, they thought that there was no suspense in this battle. However, things went beyond their expectations again. The twin kings of the Central State were the first to be injured, and the opponent was getting stronger and stronger. After the twin kings of the Central State became angry, the good one kept driving the 4-beast chariot, while the evil one spat out a black treasure saber. The treasure saber was broken in half and emitted a boundless killing intent. As soon as it appeared, it shattered the void. It was another mid-grade heaven-grade artifact. But it was a broken mid-grade heaven-grade artifact. Everyone exclaimed. They did not expect the twin kings of the Central State to have such a terrifying trump card. It was useless. It was just a broken mid-grade heaven-grade artifact. Even if it was used, it would not be a threat to them. Lin Xian's ancient robe burned fiercely, forming a strong defense. The ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand was even more powerful. Every strike tore the world apart. Boom. Boom. The twin kings vomited blood again. Indeed, even if they took out the black treasure saber, they would not be able to resist. Lin Xian was too strong. The ancient dragon sword was mysterious and unfathomable, and the great dragon sword spirit was an offensive saint technique. Therefore, the twin kings of the central state were defeated in this battle. The twin kings of the central state roared and turned to escape. The four-beast chariot bloomed with incomparable light. It was about to rush into the sky. Buzz. Lin Xian raised his hand and struck out the five-element sword. It turned into a cage, suppressing heaven and earth, blocking the twin kings' path. "Want to leave?" It was impossible. "Today you will stay here." Lin Xian's voice was cold. His body was full of killing intent. Holding the killing sword in his hand, he strode forward. "Damn kid, don't go too far." The twin kings of the central state roared. He did not expect that the other party would dare to block his path. It was really hateful. Lin Xian sneered. "What, you're allowed to bring people to kill me, but I'm not allowed to fight back? You're too naive." You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.